Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Round 3 of the Premier Endurance Racing League GT3 Limited. I believe, actually, sorry, my apologies, might be round 4 of the series as we run our way off to Road Atlanta, and where the racing was thick and fast a few weeks ago for Petit Le Mans. Now we'll be taking the GT3 Limited series here for Premier Endurance League. Scotty Rainkin off alongside of Pete Baxter and Hamish Munro. And Pete, I'll come to you first. This place, Petit Le Mans, 3 classes make it a challenging process. Actually, sorry, my apologies. Pete's just stepped out for a few minutes. Hamish sitting alongside me. In multi-class racing, this is a challenging prospect. All of the rise and the falling. But tonight we are just focusing in on the GT3s, and therein it becomes more of a sprint race than its real-world counterpart.
Yeah, first of all, great to be back, Scotty. I think the main difficulties, obviously, with multi-class racing here is having to deal with that faster class of car, like the GTPs and the LMP2s. It's not really going to be the case tonight for the GT cars, but therein lies also the test of having to race around other cars that are the same speed as you. We know how close the racing's been over the whole season thus far, pretty much. I mean, coming into, last time out at Watkins Glen, it was incredibly tight, multiple pace cars throughout the race as well. That completely tightened up the field, but also changed up the strategy plays of a lot of drivers. And then it was a little bit similar out at the Bend, but of course it was dominated by ARTT Revolution E-Racing. But the momentum shifted a little bit now. There's been a little bit more momentum in the way of John Trott coming into this race, more so than Isaac Curtis and Trent Allen. So they've got some work to do tonight at Road Atlanta. And the toughest part's going to be just how tight of a circuit it is. And if you somehow get buried in the field and you don't strategize correctly, it's going to be hard to try and either undercut people, or it's going to be hard to try and make gains if you are pitting a bit earlier, that you might just get caught up in some slower traffic throughout the race.
Yeah, so for tonight's racing action, of course, it is going to be 2 hours worth of endurance racing action. This here, the graphic that tells us the story. Where are we? We're at Road Atlanta on the left-hand side, the GT3 Limited column. November 2nd, we'll have a week off next weekend before we'll be back for the GT3 Opens in their round number 4. From there on out, though, it is 4 weeks of racing back-to-back. Motegi for the Limited, Motegi for the Open, Fuji Speedway for the Open, and Fuji Speedway for the Limited Series to bring us to a close. So 2 weeks in a row for the Open Series coming up starting November the 30th. And as always, AEDT for our timings on the board, that one. That's what we've got left. So, realistically, in the next, what have we got? Next 7 weeks, we've got 6 races to come your way on a Sunday night. So your Sunday night's totally covered here across the duration. The big reason that we're not actually in operation in a couple of weeks' time, that's because it is Bathurst week for Logitech Pro Invitational. So a weekend off that weekend to allow everyone to participate in all their regular series. Championship points, and I think one of the big things that you were sort of alluding to was the way that John Trott's been walking his way through the field. I think the big critical factor as we step in here, 91 points is the margin to P2.
Yeah, I mean, massive gains off the back of Watkins Glen, so he really took advantage of, some of the heartbreaks and some of the nightmares that Curtis and Allen faced at that circuit. This is it. Now is the time, the point of the season, Scott, as we're well aware. We're into the second half of the season. This is where the main momentum swing can happen for drivers, where you can end up getting caught into a kind of a bubble of bad luck, and you kind of want to try and pop that bubble as quick as possible. For Curtis and Allen, no matter how fast they are, they've got to try and make it probably through the first hour of this race to then really get into and sink their teeth into the possibility of going for a race win. Last time out, it was not much of their fault that they were caught up in incidents, but trying to limit themselves and put themselves into a better position tonight to avoid them is what is going to try and hopefully help them challenge John throughout the rest of this season. Now, whether John can back up what he's done thus far, including last week, that's still a question to be answered. He's all the way back in P17 at the moment in qualifying, so being so far back, and he hasn't really been the strongest qualifier thus far, may be a hindrance, but we do know that he is very consistent. He's very safe during races as well, as ironically goes straight up to P9, so that's a lot better than what we would currently seeing. But I think for John, he's a safe and consistent driver. He's someone who will be willing to take his time, be patient, and he won't try and put the car in a bad position, but even through the good performances, he has had some incidents over the last few races. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out tonight. Road Atlanta's a lot less forgiving than what Watkins Glen and the Bend were over the last 2 rounds. So I don't know. It's going to be an intriguing end to this season, and Road Atlanta is going to be a really good test. But these drivers should have no excuses for lack of laps around here, because it's a circuit that is often used for this style of racing in nearly every single season or series. So it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, so just watching on it, Matt Webber at the moment, as he's also climbed his way all the way up to P2. And it's actually Isaac Curtis who's leading the way in terms of qualifying at the moment. 50 seconds left on the board as we're riding along with Webber. I think really, really cool as well to note in terms of the Challenger class standings, what they've been able to achieve here tonight. Mustangs for Brent Tucker and Kurt Chapman currently sitting in 5th and 7th. A little bit of a look in at the weather conditions as we currently stand as well. 8 mile an hour winds. We're just after 1 p.m. in sim time as well. 28 degrees Celsius in terms of track temp. Means that it's not the coldest track that we've ever seen, but relatively mild, all things considered. That air temp as well is relatively cool. Only at 22 degrees Celsius. They're murderous in this part of the world for talking in degrees Celsius, by the way. Cloudy, overcast conditions, and no threat of rain for the race through till the next hour and a half at the very least. So there is the opportunity potentially for some rain possibly later on beyond that marker, but it looks like it's going to be a dry race. So this circuit's challenging enough before you start adding wet weather to that.
I mean, we've got, 43 cars in the server? I'm pretty sure maybe 42 cars in the server, Scotty. I don't know if we need rain in particular to make this race incredibly exciting or to make it, intense enough. I think the 42 cars around this place is going to make it very difficult to try and make your way through. And if you've struggled in qualifying, like some of the elite drivers have, you look at Nick Bottrell, Alfonso Latea as well towards the back of the field. Both Ricky Provenzali and Tom Williams and Leith McClement have not set qualifying times either. So they're going to have to fight from the back of the field. And then even the likes of Ben Gorringe, Bobby Camo, and Luke Caposa, who are starting outside of the top 20 as well, they are all starting amongst the Challenger class. Now, for Kurt Chapman and Brent Tucker, well, they've got an initial advantage over their competitors because they're up inside of the top 10. It's not till we get back to P20 that we find the next Challenger in Isaac Norman. So if they can keep it clean at the front, that's going to give them a much better task of trying to hold on to a podium or possibly a race win in that class, Scott. But we know from last time at Watkins Glen, anything can happen. Anyone can get caught up in an incident at any moment, and it's anyone's race to win.
I just noticed as well, I was looking around at my monitors and going, I've just had new monitors installed. Gee, it's gone dark. There must have been a setting on my monitors that's changed. I've been scrapping them up, trying to fix that up. And then I had a quick look across at the live feed and went, you know what? It has gotten a fair bit darker right out towards the tail end of the qualifying, and actually the temperature's going to die off just a little bit in the last few moments. All the qualifying laps are in. We're about 10 seconds away from jumping into the warm-up for this session. 2 hours worth of racing to come your way. On the other side of a short 5-minute warm-up session is what we're setting ourselves for here in this evening's racing action. Premier Endurance League qualifying is in the books, and there is Peter Baxter to join us in the commentary booth at the moment as well. Pete, a little bit of a chat at the end of qualifying. What's the feeling like up and down pit lane?
Oh, I got to tell you, the feeling right now is the track's a little bit slipperier than what has been in practice. So I'm not sure whether that's a track state thing and we're waiting for the 50 cars to get out there and race and then actually get the track to grip up. But right now, the times dead set have been about half a second slower than what I witnessed in the last practice session for this race. So the track state's coming back a bit backwards. Not sure it's clear. No talk about rain. I think it's just an overcast, coolish night, but slippery track. So one question is, how good are the Mustangs on a slippery track?
I can tell you that after driving a Mustang in Petit Le Mans a couple of weeks ago, that they do wear the rear tyres as well. So expect those rear tyres. All the cars you're expecting to see tonight are going to encounter tyre wear. It's just how much that rear end will slide around. A couple looking to jump on board the Lamborghinis as well, which will keep us in the loop. I did have a quick look through. At the moment, I think there's been a few qualifying issues. I can tell you there's a 5-second penalty, I think, coming the way of Trent Stapleton at the moment, and a 10-second penalty for Matt Webber, I believe, as well, for not holding brakes on their qualifying laps. With spinning and impeding other cars, there is a few question marks around that at the moment. Small jump forward in time, I can tell you, no rain on the offering for the weather here this afternoon, so it'll be a dry race to the end. And I think one of the biggest factors for this one, Hamish, will be getting going cold tyres around Road Atlanta. Again, just this racetrack, it looks simple, it looks like it flows, but GT3's prior to the tyre update we got earlier in the year, yeah, it was rather stuck together. Since the update, it's anything but.
Yeah, it's like they decided to put a couple of chemicals together, one of them being, let's make them really loose and see how they handle Road Atlanta. I mean, Road Atlanta is one of those circuits, Scott, as you know, you look at the track map, it looks relatively simple, but it's deceivingly difficult. It doesn't show the elevation changes. It doesn't show the difficulty in the braking zones, and actually the undulation amongst the cars and how that can be affected around this place. Very similar to the Red Bull Ring in that fact. It's a simple looking track when you look at it from above, but when you're actually on the track, it's much more difficult, and it's anything but, easy. So what I think one of the big tests is again, just keeping yourself in check, hitting all your marks perfectly. There's a lot of key spots drivers are going to be careful of throughout this race. Obviously the first sector through turn 1, 2, 3 and 4, then the run down through turn 5, the double right at 6 and 7, then the Formula Drift section down at 10A, 10B and up and around the final corner. Those sections have got their own approach to them. You've got to almost know how to approach them in a different way. And as you approach them, you've got to be setting yourself up. You've almost got to be thinking a corner ahead of yourself, because there may be an incident in front of you that you don't know about. You come around the corner, namely right here at turn 5, where someone could catch the curb on the outside of the sand and be across the track and you've got nowhere to go. So if it happens early in the race, that's going to be a test too. And that's something the driver's going to have to be careful of. Pete, when we look at this track, it's very difficult. You've had a chat to the drivers, obviously, and we've heard that what their opinions are. How do you see this race going tonight for these drivers? Me and Scotty have had a chance to have a little chat about it. How are you feeling tonight? Because I love Road Atlanta. I believe Scotty loves Road Atlanta as well. How are you feeling going into this one with 43 cars ready to attack it?
Oh, look, I mean, Road Atlanta is an absolute fascinating track for me to drive. I think I said to you at the last round, this was the home of my first ever endurance race in iRacing, and I had 30 minutes to prepare for it. But having said that, it's got ups, downs, lefts, rights, S's, high curbs, lots of bounce, tight turns that have a big change in your effective lap time. But there are a couple little changes, right? So there are the things that I'm going to look for tonight, the main things. One, we got 45 cars on a track that's really suited to about 25, okay? So we've got an overdose of cars tonight. That's fantastic. It's going to give us lots of good racing. It's going to give us plenty of action, and potentially, I reckon it's going to give us an 80% plus chance of safety cars throughout the night. We've got a slippery track. We've also got a new pit lane entry. So if drivers haven't practiced their entry into pit lane, iRacing has changed the pit lane entry for Road Atlanta about 100 metres further into the pit lane entrance. So if you're not slowing down the hill to hit the pit lane speed limit, you've got a penalty there. That can change the race. That can change anybody's race. The last thing, we got a 45% fuel tank. 23 minutes of fuel only. I'm talking 18, possibly 19 laps if you can fuel save. And guys, over a 2-hour race, that converts to a full green in 2-hour race. That converts to 5 fuel stops, which is 4 with a plus. But essentially, it's a 4-stop race. So we're going to see lots of pit stops. We're going to see lots of mixed up action. And we're going to have to try and keep on top of who's wearing all of these pit stops. Back to you guys. We're about to start.
We go. We're getting into the gridding formation. Premier Endurance League from Road Atlanta on behalf of Dash Off-Road 4x4 Parts and Accessories Store, www.dashoffroad.com.au. Here we go. Isaac Curtis takes the pole position from nearly 3/10 back to Matt Webber. Owen Coleman will be off of row number 2 alongside of Will Buchanan. Row number 3 will be Brant Tucker from Trent Allen. Kurt Chapman and Edward Adcock make up row number 5. Row number 5 is John Trott and Brad Coates, struggling a little bit as this evening. Luke King and Patrick Red are going to make up the front 6 rows. Outside of that, we'll get back to Jamie Saxon, the first of the Ferraris from Brad Cadai. James Mason and Rue Koistra and the Fargy Esports Machine back in 16th spot. Trent Stapleton from Martin Hallen, and rounding out the top 20, Sean Benici and Isaac Norman. Outside the 20, though, it's Ben Wilkes who won the last round in the Challenger class from Luke Capozza. Adrian Gretsch leads the way in terms of championship standings in the green category. He is in 23rd. Bobby Camo will start off alongside of him. Outside of that row, Ben Goringe from Chris Ruddle, Mark Foster, Benjamin Brook, and finally the last 2 cars inside the 30, Greg Heaney from Brennan Purcell. Matt McCamley from Alfonso Lateta outside the 30, Glenn Jones, Dale Atkins, Chris Withers and Nathaniel Coburn all the way back through 36. Before we get back to the last couple drivers to set time is Nick Bottrell and Stefan Mellis. From here on out, we've got Leith McClymont, Tom Williams, Ricky Provenzali, Tim Lawson, Jared Williams, Jesse McMenamin. And I believe that is the field of, I want to say, 44 drivers that have made an entry for tonight's race. And we will see a little bit deeper back in the field. But the big thing that's worthwhile noting is Adrian Gretsch leads the way in Challenger by 4 points, but deep in the field for Gretschy in 23rd. But he's only a couple of spots down in terms of, realistically, where he should be in terms of the Challenger class. Look at the spread of how far apart they are there, Hamish.
Well, it's for me personally, it's not too surprising to see Chapman so far up the order. Neither is it that surprising to see Brent Tucker. Kurt's been doing a lot of racing, a lot of different car types, he's getting a lot of speed, and he's getting a lot more confidence in his driving as well. Obviously, he's on a break at the moment from Project 36. So, but I think when you do look at the grand scheme of things, as you said, Scott, the rest of the field of the Challenger class are where they should be. It's the elites that haven't qualified up the order where they should be technically classified. So for the 2 that are outperforming the rest of the field, that's an exceptional job to them. We can't really say anything negative about the rest of the Challenger class because they are where they were expected to be. It's just that some drivers have had exceptional performances in qualifying, but we'll see how it pans out in the race. It's one thing to be fast in qualifying, it's another to be fast in a race for 2 hours every single lap.
Here we go.
He's the race control.
Righto, we're going to set ourselves and get ready for a race start. Like we said, Dash Off-Road 4x4 parts and accessories. GT3 Limited Series. 2 hours from Road Atlanta. Short, sharp, short lap. Minute and 18 second-ish lap times on the green flag racing in these conditions. A dark circuit as the clouds are overhead. What does it look like out the other side of turn number 1? The rundown of turn number 1 as they get launched for the first lap of the night. John Trott, championship leader and leader by a long way, looking to try and make some ground. He has the inside lane into turn 1, making a big gain. It's a car backwards. That's not Provenzali, as I thought it was a Porsche in the background of that shot. It was coming from the rear of the field. Someone didn't make it through turn 1 and has found their way to the gravel. It was 12th spot off of the start, and that will be Patrick Reardon in the car 48 Mustang, who's in the gravel at turn 1. The rest of the field have just about made their way through and survived the first of our racing laps here tonight. Somebody's gone off and over the curbing at turn 5. We expected that early on. If you can't get the car to bite, it's difficult to get it to turn. It's the 418 machine who is sliding down the field. Jamie Saxon, the recipient of a wild ride at turn 5.
So just to give the update on how Reardon's ended up off track, the exit of turn 1, he's had contact with one of the Ferraris. I think it may have possibly been Jamie Saxon, but don't take my exact words for it. He's turned in on him at turn 1, did Reardon, and then they've collided and he's gone off the exit of turn 1 as well. So that's how he's ended up off the road. Trent Allen, bit of work to do tonight, P6 now in this race. He's still where he started. The top 8 are actually unchanged at the moment here, Scott, but Luke King's a good gainer. He's up 2 and inside of the top 10. As Brad Coates tries to fight his way in, as well as John Trott is under big pressure, and James Mason's run it wide off the exit of turn 12. So there's almost this feeling, this aura in the air that the drivers are going to be, and you mentioned it earlier, it's almost like a sprint race. It's like they're racing for a 20-minute sprint, but across 2 hours, and that's the kind of feeling I'm getting off these cars at the moment on the track.
I just went back and had a quick look at the Jamie Saxon incident turn 1 and turn 5, and he's just backed in at turn 5, but he hasn't found the barriers, so no damage by the look of things on board the 418 Ferrari for Saxon, who unfortunately goes tumbling down the order So it'll be a long way back for him. And track position at Road Atlanta is difficult to come by, but looking after the tyre, not overloading them, not burning them, might just be the story of the evening. If you can just not overdrive it, not overbrake. I know, by the way, talking to Brad Coates, this is moment turn 1 lap 1. And yeah, that's a car turning in as if no car to the inside. So there'll be potentially something to talk about there.
I mean, I think if it was going to be a penalty, Scott, it would be, I don't even know if there would be one. Wouldn't it be classified as maybe self-inflicted? He's turned it on the other car.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well.
Yeah, like that's my point of view as, tip of the cap, voice of the commentary box, and that's what it, sort of seems like to me and to you too. Pete, you snuck off for a moment.
I always sneak off. I went and had a quick chat with Paddy Reardon, mate, and from that start line, he did think he had a clear run into the inside. He's already taken full responsibility for it. He hasn't got too much damage on the car. He's going to use his fast repair. He'll get out there and fight for the race. So yeah, yep, all good. No, got the dude is a sport, taking responsibility, but away he goes. Good race.
Well, he's been given he's been given a 10-second penalty for that incident on that one, Scott, and it said no further action for Jamie Saxon on that one there, so which we kind of assumed was going to be the case anyway. But the pressure's up the front on Isaac Curtis as Matt Webber is all over the back of him at the moment. It's good to see one of the Aston Martins up there. Of course, they had the rear of grid penalties last time out because of the changeover of car to the Aston, so now we actually get to see them really spread their wings and fly away, and with one of them up inside of the top, well, two of them inside the top 10, one inside of the top 5, they've got a little bit of work to do, but it was looking pretty good for Ed Adcock at Watkins after starting at the back. Let's see how he does tonight starting at the front.
I'm really curious to see just how Webber's going to go with a strong qualifying performance like this as well, moving his way through the field. Will not be an issue for Webber. He'll start up the front, stay up the front. He should be in for a strong shout. Coleman trying to make some ground in the background of that shot as well. So blanket over the top 4. Realistically, Buchanan's been able to go with them in the BMW. Brent Tucker's not quite able to run with them at the moment. Trent Allen's in behind him. Big question mark will be is what does John Chopp's pace look like? Watch for the OPR BMW to come through and get a touch closer. Coleman's starting to get closer for that race lead by the look of things as well.
John at the moment is currently tucked up right in behind Luke King of WBR, and as they follow along with Ed Adcock, it's this sort of battle pack's just giving me the sense that they're happy to sit in their train for a little bit, take a little advantage if its get offers up to you, and just see what you can gain throughout this race. So John's not looking and around, has gone. That is Tom Williams for Phantom Sim Sports. That's down at turn 7. His teammate has just come past him and given him a little wave and say, you're good, you're fine. But how's this happened, Tom? Is this Porsche doing Porsche things? No, it's a Ferrari up the inside at a very late dive. It might be. That's a very audacious move so early in the race, Scott.
If you carry overlap through the corner previous, look, you're up the inside, you may as well have a bomb. But whoever the car was, there was no overlap. If you're not on their rear bumper as you enter 6, you're not getting down the inside at 7. So for me, that's one of those ones where you sort of head scratch. I'd show the nose of the car ahead, but I wouldn't actually be thinking about it. I'd be just trying to get him to cover me and not get a great run to the straight, and then I'd pounce at the end of the straight. Best overtaking zones, turn 1 and the chicane at 10A, 10B. So other than that, it's really not all that easy. You've actually got to set somebody up and work them over for multiple laps to have a crack at them.
It's a real maximise your exit type of track, isn't it? You can make moves at certain corners, but that's based on, again, thinking a corner ahead, maximising your exit off, a corner or two before. So you do set yourself up for that moment. So, we think about moves at turn 6. You're setting yourself up back at probably turn 4 down the S's and through turn 5, trying to hang right on the back of them through 5, and then just being able to dart out at the last moment and carry the pace through. So, it's a tough track to really set yourself up well, and we may see more of those moments throughout this race as drivers try and go for audacious moves. But for me, 5 minutes in the race, I don't know why you're going for a dive at turn 7. You've still got an hour and 55 minutes to go. You've got plenty of time to go for the move.
Yeah, so just think about it. Patience, setting them up, attack be on the front foot, but it's creating the overlap if you can. This is the battle a little bit further down. Trent Allen, yeah, go ahead, Pete.
I was going to say that the thing that really sort of tweaks me is going for those position changes right now on a race that has 4 pit stops with so many things that can go wrong through that cycle is wild, right? So why do you need to go for it? Anyway, cars are off track, go for it.
He's been given a 25-second penalty as well, Scott, for that move. I think very fair and probably quite lenient as well. You know, some other race controllers out there may give drive-throughs to that sort of move, so the race controller done the right thing. But yeah, it's not the best start for Saxon tonight, must be said, and maybe he could be a little bit heated at this point after the early incident that he had on lap 1, and it's letting it affect him at this point as well.
Yeah, so he's going to have to come back from that one. 25-second penalty for Saxon means there is work to do, and it's going to be work that's going to be hampered. How about this battle as well? Already, we're talking about the opportunities that present themselves. Kurt Chapman was looking to try and have a go at Brant Tucker, and instead he's lost a position to Edward Adcock as a result. So this is the problem. He was just a little bit too aggressive on the way into turn 1, and Tucker was trying to have a go, and Allen ahead of him as well, and lost the position. It's about getting out of sequence, getting out of rhythm. This is a real rhythm track. You've got to get yourself into a flow state, and it's also a great opportunity to get the tempers up as well, because it's just the first sector, second sector, high intensity. The back straight is a short breather on an aggressive lap time where the driver is challenged for a large portion of it.
Yeah, it really is just like the shortest breather, isn't it? It's almost a little bit akin to Phillip Island a little bit, Scott, and you really only get a breather there down the Doohan Straight. The rest of down the Garden Straight, sorry, the rest of the lap, you're kind of on it nearly the whole way, where it's very similar here at Road Atlanta, and it's a lot tighter, of course, than what Phillip Island is, but we can see that the pressure that's being applied on Adcock now by Chapman looks to go up. He's inside at 12, side by side as they come across the strike. Oh, he has to back out of it in the end. Adcock's just able to carry a little bit more pace, but Trot could try and trot his way forward here and sneak up the inside at 1. And Chapo's been run wide. He caught in the grass.
Oh, he's going to go for the
Oh, no. Oh,
and the problem was he just kept carrying on with the speed as he was trying to rejoin. You just got to let it off. Just make sure that you rejoin and that you're okay. Chapman will rejoin now. I don't think it's going to be bent to the point of a pit stop, but shaken, rattled, and bounced off the wall for his efforts.
Yeah, you know, I mean, Chapo's on a real learning curve at the moment. Obviously, he's positioned himself in the privateer role ever since stepping away from Project 36 in the last few months, at least for the rest of the year. And he's racing a lot of different car types, of course, Porsche Cups, does some supercars racing here or there, as well as NASCARs too. So there's a whole heap of different car types that are giving him different driving styles as well. And some of those are can apply to the GT car, of course, as around has gone Matt McCamley for Odyssey Racing. So those Ferraris are really struggling tonight, Scott, and they've been the talking point of the race thus far.
Yeah, Ferrari off deeper in the field as well. I'm going to look at Matt McCamley on the Sud Speed replay. And it's just coming around on its own on the exit. That's just a snap out of nowhere.
Was there a slight touch from the McLaren in behind him?
Don't believe so.
Unless it's just timed correctly for him to drive past.
To be perfectly honest with you, I think that's just let go on its own. Yeah. 747 Mercedes, nearly trying its best efforts to have a think about becoming a 747.
I was going to say, it doesn't have wings yet. It's not like it's a Red Bull car.
Well, it does. They just work the other way up. You flip that rear end over on Bobby Camo's car. All of a sudden, it might be taking off.
Pete, what's the word? How are our drivers feeling at the moment? Only 10 minutes into this race.
Well, I just come back with a quick chat from Brandon Tucker, and I wanted to go and see how he's doing. He's well and truly up the field as challenger class. To be honest, he actually said he had no idea how he got a lap time to get himself that far up the class. So, fair enough. That can happen. And then did admit to me that he's come from the Demon Kai School of Coaching over the last couple of weeks to gain some speed. And to be honest, mate, that's where I reckon if he's got some of that coaching from Mackay, then yeah, no wonder he's up there. But no, look, he's doing the old challenger thing, going as fast as he can for qualifying, going as fast as he can for racing as safe as he can. He knows he's going to get a couple of elite guys come up and challenge him through the race. He's just trying to stay safe and get the best spot he can at the end of it. So good on Brant for getting up there and having a great qualifying. That was exceptional, especially after receiving some driver coaching. So well done.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, we sit on board with Brock Caddy at the moment. He's been up and down the last few weeks, hasn't he, Scotty? And as he battles here with...
There's been a safety car deployed. There's a car parked up at the exit of the back straight chicane. And I think they've already towed.
Yeah, he's already towed.
It might have been Ricky Provenzali. Because there was a car parked up at the exit of the chicane. It was somewhere right about here.
Front runners are in. So I think everyone's going to try and come in here. We may see someone go for track position, but it's a free pit stop early in the race. What has happened to... Has he had like a screen failure?
No, he's had a hardware failure, boys. I heard him call it in. Ricky's had a hardware failure. He's pulled straight off as soon as he could, parked it, and obviously the hardware failure's caused him to tow. So, so that's Provenzali out. Unfortunate, because I love to see Ricky sort of test the field and come through, but unfortunately that is happening in these days of iRacing. So anyway, I think everybody's going to pit, and pretty much everybody had.
Chris Ruddle and Ben Wilkes have stayed out here, Pete, because I think Ben already pitted on lap 1, although he had a very long stop on that one, so it's interesting, actually, 3 minutes. But yeah, Chris has taken track position. Interesting strategy. We'll see if it pays off for him.
No cars off the lead lap either. So apart from Rick Provenzali, with that most recent incident, Nick Bottrell did not take the start. It was one of those cars further down that didn't set a representative qualifying time. Yeah, I'd be taking... I got to be honest, this is just how early it is in the race. I'd be taking a little bit of track position here. And the reason I'm saying that is if you get away at the head of the field, with the difficulty of the overtaking at the moment, it's just, there's a massive amount of bottling up that does happen in behind. Either way, first safety car of the race. Bulk of the field, bar a couple, in for a pit stop. Reardon, after his spin on lap 1, Kurt Chapman are the main two, and Ben Wilkes and Chris Ruddle. So 4 drivers total up and down the field electing to stay out.
Was it Chris who we saw stay out under the first safety car at Watkins? Yes. And then he bottled the restart. So hopefully he has a better job this time.
No, he did fine on the restart. It was his teammate.
Oh, that's right. Yes, in the Corvette. Yes, I was trying to find them in the field. I couldn't find them. Yes, it's indeed. But, well, I suppose, I think you're right, Scott. I mean, if we look at how early it is in the race, could there be enough safety cars that would mean they don't need to stop 4 times still in this race?
We're expecting about 23 minutes.
Guys. Sorry, let me jump in, Scotty. No, I've done the analysis on this. There needs to be safety cars, so it's only a 4-stop race. A full green race would have been a 5-stop race, and the 5th stop would have been for 2 laps of fuel. Okay, so that's where we're at in terms of fuel. Absolute no-brainer to every time there's a safety car right now come in. The critical time we're looking for is 1 hour 37 minutes of the race, and then we know people have done their last stop to home. So essentially, just keep filling them up, basically. The real question I would like you guys to ponder is: do you take tyres or not when you take fuel?
I don't think tyre wear
is
on the first one. Would you?
Not at the first one, not here. No, I'd be looking to do like 40-ish minutes on a set of tyres. So two pit stops. On the second pit stop, take tyres, pretty much is what I'm expecting. But I can tell you, tyre wear is extreme if you are not managing them. If you're just surging into braking zones, you will know. And the reason I can tell you that, during my Petit Le Mans, one of my friends thought it would be a hilarious prank to turn off my front left tyre and then forgot to turn it back on. I had to do two full hours in my front left tyre, and it was in the 20s or 30s, I think, after 2 hours. So
that's not a fun time. That is not a fun time.
That's the tyre that takes the biggest beating around here too.
Yeah. Well, they at least could have done like a rear right or something that maybe wouldn't have taken so much of a beating. But I suppose then it's probably a big mistake for Chris to stay out and take this track position, because he's maybe only got what, 7 minutes till he'll need to pit, because he'll save a few laps under this pace car. But if he can only go 23 minutes on the stint, then he's very likely going to get buried, because everybody is close together. He's very likely actually just given up a lot of positions by staying out here, because the period of him needing to come in eventually is not going to be long enough. That might be a big mistake. I don't know, Pete. I mean, you did the analysis. You said it was an hour 37. That says 23 minutes to the stint. We're only 5 minutes away from there. With the safety car, you add a lap, so let's say 24 and a half, maybe 25.
I mean, essentially in 3 to 4 laps, Hamish, he's in.
Yeah.
It's going to put him right back to the back of the field. I don't think track position is worth it right now in the context of the race, because essentially there is still 3 pit stops to go in this race. There's still 3 of those cycles to go. Track position on one cycle is going to lose it to you on another cycle. It's just going to play those swings and roundabouts. So you've got to play that to be in the right position on that last stop. And I don't think starting that right now. I think it's just a matter for every driver just drive, feel, see what you can do, and then around about that 1 hour 15, then just sort of maybe come up with some magic. But yeah. Anyway, I could be wrong, mate. Yeah, Chris might have pulled an absolute genius move. Anyway, here we go.
Green flag is out. We'll get back underway. And yet again, Dash Off-Road 4x4 Parts Accessories has its first Sud Speed safety car of the night in the Dash Off-Road GT3 Limited Series. Back underway, and there's been a mistake at turn 1 for Owen Coleman. Some sort of issue. Don't think he could pull the car up and get it accurately in at turn 1. Matt Webber's had a dive down the inside of him and nicked a spot straight back off of him as he's going to go down the hill. Buchanan's fired it down the inside as well. I think Coleman might have taken tyres. I think he's on cold tyres at the moment, boys, and he's just struggling to turn that car in and get it to do what he wants it to do.
Second stop with that. That wouldn't cover tyres, would it, Scott?
No, it shouldn't.
No.
Might cover 2.
Maybe. I think you might just be cold-brained at the moment. Just took it a little bit. Took too much of a breath onto the pace car, and now he's out of his rhythm, possibly. But Curtis, I mean, he has warmed right up. He has broken away 2.6 seconds back to Chris Ruddle already, and the pack of cars behind him is starting to battle away. And the more they battle away and allow him to run away with this thing, Scott, well, he is going to build a gap very, very quickly if they don't start to work together.
Well, Webber will be the first one to line up and try to have a crack at him. In the meantime, Curtis is just trying to disappear down the right of Cummins. Isaac Curtis is choosing, trying to save a little bit of fuel, just cover a few bits and pieces off, preserve the tyre would be the next thing that goes through my mind as well. Battling a little bit in the field is Trent Allen trying to show the nose a little bit to Owen Coleman.
See that Owen is just starting to pressure Will Buchanan here, Pete. Hopefully he can try and make a move at some point, but he's given up a couple of spots early there off the restart.
Yeah,
big moment for Chris Ruddle, actually just up ahead. And Matt Webber's managed to go on through. I think he's gotten away without tapping the wall, but that was up and over the curbs. There is damage on the right front corner of that one. So might have to grab a replay if we can. You know what? I think he might have got the wall, actually. He did get the wall up and over turn 5. So there's now damage on the front right-hand corner of the Ruddle 56 Mercedes. How much it is and how much does it impact him, particularly in a straight line, would be the problem.
Yeah. I suppose the benefit is he'll come into pit lane in a few laps' time, but he is truly going to get buried now off of this next pit stop as down the inside goes Buchanan onto the podium. Coleman got cut out there. We'll see if he can do it down at turn 12. He needs to try and get a run if he can. Doesn't seem to be close enough, but he might try and do it in towards turn 1 if he can get this thing tucked up under brakes. It's got Trent Allen pushing him long in behind. Under brakes he goes. Coleman down the inside at 1. Job done past Ruddle. Allen looks to make it a 2-for-1 special. Can he get the ticket price, or is he going to get the deal? He does get the deal. And look at that. John Trott has fought his way up to P7 already in this race, Scott. He's such a sneaky assassin. He just sneakily fights his way forward, and at the end of the race, we might question how he gets there, but he gets there quite often. Yeah, he has
say that.
Big,
and then the rear end.
Yeah. He loves the rear end flick, doesn't he?
Yeah, well, the BMW at the moment, that's just one of the trademarks of the performance and the way that it drives. It doesn't want to settle at the rear. Comes off of turn 7. He'll be the next one to try and line up and have a crack at Chris Ruddle. But the other thing of Chris Ruddle is, and I got to be honest with you, I actually don't mind this strategy because, again, it just pops him out in the clear air. When everyone else behind him is going to be squabbling, in dirty air, overheating, cooking the tyres, he's just going to be off on his own for a good period of time. Trott's going to show the nose. This will be a late bomb if he gets there. But he was late on the brakes. The problem is if Ruddle had turned in, he would have come straight across the nose and just been rotated by him. There was no room for that nose to be shoved in there. Now it's going to cost him, as Adcock wants to have a crack at him at the final corner. And Adcock was forced to lift out. Couldn't carry the speed through the final corner on the narrow line. If he could have, an opportunity to have a go. They're all queuing up.
They're all waiting to have a crack.
Back end of Ruddle.
Ooh. It's like a deli ticket system, Scott. They're waiting for their number to get called to have a crack at him. But Adcock wants to jump in front of the middle-aged mum waiting for her 200 grams of ham. I mean, he wants to try and get this job done early.
Yeah, I was just going to say, what do you think? Order a champagne leg ham and a few slices of Jarlsberg might be on the menu here.
I think so.
For John Trott, trying to make a sandwich at the deli at the moment.
Might get some sun-dried tomatoes on there too, maybe some suppressed salami, but he won't want to end up suppressed into the wall.
He's taken a long time with this order, so it could be a pasta salad and a coleslaw too whilst you're there. A few prawns to go. Now he's going to try and show with the nose a little bit to Chris Ruddle. Ruddle's covering him to the middle of the road after last lap. I don't blame him. Just sort of make him, actually think about getting the move done. Adcock's going to get into the rear, just a touch up. Now Adcock will get to the inside.
Yeah,
and it's not going to be the only one because Brad Coates.
He only wanted a single slice of ham for the kid that came with him to the shopping centre there. He wasn't having a big order at the deli, but you can see more and more drivers are just that. Again, it's really the energy from this race, Scott, is sprint race energy right now. It doesn't feel like a 2-hour race with how they're attacking each other.
Yeah, welcome to Road Atlanta, realistically. And Ruddle's again offline and struggling with the front end of that car. Now he's going to run in a fraction deep. That's going to create the opportunity for Brad Coates. He'll go through. Ruddle is just getting boxed about the ears. Wilkes is going to try and line him up and have a crack at him as well. Ruddle tries to squeeze. There's contact with Wilkes, and around goes Ben Wilkes.
He's spun round onto the grass. There he is. Oh my God.
But again,
weird one.
The whole point is to try and get yourself ahead of the mess, right? The mess happened in the rear view. That's what the alternate strategy is about. Mark Foster's having a go at Martin Hallinan at the moment in the run towards 10A.
Oh, this could get really hairy if they're not careful, Scott. Oh, there it is. Oh my God. Ruddle's in, by the way, so he's finally committed to his pit stop. Hey, look at that, about 25, 26 minutes. But, yeah, unfortunately for Chris, he's now going to get buried. We'll see how this dice roll plays out through the rest of the race as we see Gorringe and Koistrup go side by side into turn 1. Which one of them can get it? They're still side by side up towards 2 and 3. What's got to give here? Who's going to give it up? Koistrup snuck ahead. Gorringe just couldn't catch the pace on the outside of turn 3. And he tucks back in down through the S as they go. So, it has been a wild start this race already, Scott, but based on what we saw at Watkins Glen, I'm not too surprised.
Yeah, elbows have been out, barbs have been traded, paint shared. There's going to be a few race cars will end tonight in a different colour to the way that they started. That much is for sure. And a few wraps that are starting to come off.
There's even a deli order thrown in there at one point too.
Yep, Bobby Camo.
I don't know how they managed that. Bobby Camo though. Go down towards 10A, 10B. He's already got the job done for the brake zone. And again, I think that there is just testament to planning a corner ahead, maximising an exit off the corner. He got that job done from his exit at turn 7. That wasn't even an under brakes job. Pete, what's the word? Who have you spoken to?
Oh, I was just come back. I was just come back from chatting with Eddie Adcock and seeing how he's going, fighting up for the lead there. I think you just covered his overtake there, but mate, he's just cruising. He's like, yeah, no, that's all right. We're just sort of seeing how we can go and getting along the race. We're, trying to stay alive. No too pressure. The occasional dude's putting their car beside him, but he's like, yeah, whatever. Let's just keep driving and calm as silk. In fact, jumping in the team, there was a little bit more animosity from down the bottom end of the race, right? So the guys are fighting at the bottom end of the race. We're sort of focusing on the top 10 and those positions up the top. But I tell you what, there's a whole lot of argy-bargy in the 20 to 30s right now, and it's a good fun to watch.
Well,
Currently, Owen Coleman is about to get Trent Allen. Is going to have a look at the inside on the run of the chicane. Allen will get down there. And it's whether or not Coleman can hang it tough around the inside. He's not going to get the drive off the corner. That will go the way of Trent Allen, but he will get into him across the crest. He's straightened him out and immediately lifts, but it's gone back the other way. There will be a penalty for that at this point in time. Owens to just get on the loud pedal and go.
Oh, he's trying to redress. That's cost him bulk positions, though. I agree. He should have just kept going. There's likely going to be a time penalty, but oh my god, this is really throwing some salt and pepper into the mix. And it's spiced and seasoned it up for us beautifully. As you run up towards turn 2 and 3 once again. 5-second time penalty, by the way, Scott, to Chris Ruddle for his incident on lap 9 for moving under brakes. So it's a tough night for Chris. He's trying to get that alternate strategy. It's not going to be working out too well for him, though.
Yes, that was the contact with Ben Wilkes. So at this point in time, Coleman slides back to 16th spot. Still in behind Trent Allen after they went after the final couple of corners.
I can tell you right now, Ben Wilkes is buried in the field down 8 positions, and he's trying to battle away with that Adrian Gretchen and Jesse McMenamin at the moment. I'm just keeping an eye on how he's going. But Patrick Reardon, we saw him off the track, turn 1, lap 1. Scott in his P17 at the moment as he battles away with Owen Coleman. Through goes Reardon. He's only down 4 positions from his start point, actually, so this has been a fairly decent comeback drive for Patrick. But he did pit on lap 1, so he does need to do a regular pit stop in this race. That'll see him go towards the back of the field.
Well, shuffle it up, do something different. If you're out of sequence, doing the same thing as everybody else, you can only pick off spots that you can earn. So for him, this is just the alternate strategy and just trying something at the moment. He'll be a couple laps away from a pit stop at the most.
What about Rue Koistra not qualifying where we've seen him up at throughout this season? The second half, he struggled tonight under brakes through turn 5, nearly drills Reardon. And Pete, we've been trying to keep an eye on Rue throughout this season. He had a tough night at Silverstone, a tough night at the Bend, and had a tough start to Watkins, but he managed to come back and get a bit better luck. How can we see this race going for him at the moment throughout this race? He's down 2, but his car's still clean.
I think the difficult thing for Rue is he's always been fast and he's been competitive in this field. He's had incidents, and that's the problem. So we just got to, I think for Rue, a clean race, and I think we're going to see close to a top 10 result. Might go and have a chat with him and say you just wound him up. Hopefully there's no commentator's curse there, but now that we've called it out before, we've had a chat, it might solve that. But anyway, I'll go and have a chat and see how he's doing.
I don't believe in curses, Pete. That's fine. Pat Reardon's into pit lane, Scott, so it was only about a lap or so before he had to come in, and that'll now put him towards the back of the field once again. It's weird to think we're already half an hour through this race. We've had pretty much a whole race worth of action already. A safety car early on and some great battles on hand too as we ride on board with Kurt Chapman following Composer as well. It's a battle for P14 at the moment. So it'd be interesting to see how Kurt does tonight. Well, started in the top 10, had a rough start to the race. I'm interested to see what he does because I follow his racing quite closely, and to see how he does in other series is pretty intriguing, and obviously how he can then apply that to other race cars and race series as well. So hopefully he does well for himself.
Well, that's one of the big things at the moment. When you're on that back foot, and he has slid a little way. So it's an opportunity to just sort of see what he can do and see if he can advance back through the field, back to 15. He hasn't fallen all that far back. Realistically, when you consider where he did start, he's still got an opportunity to cut his way back through the field and has a chance to still achieve a top 10, which will keep him in contention. Worthwhile pointing out as well that Adrian Gretsch is his target in terms of points at the moment, and Gretsch is well and truly down the field. So right now, he's actually right where he needs to be in terms of championship standings, and it's that pro versus amateur battle you always look at. It's just, you've got to be aggressive, but you've got to temper it. He's riding on board with Ben Gorringe at the moment, who's chasing the route.
So what about as well then the battle with Dean Hunt, because I don't think he's on the road tonight, and he's classified as a challenger too, so he's going to give up some points tonight, it seems, as well, Scott. So yeah, I suppose between Gretsch and Chapman's in a much better position right now, as an NFA's been called against Mirabella for an incident previously. So yeah, Chapo and Gretsch, that's the battle for the title lead, at least for the challenger class. But right now, John Trott's sitting in a pretty good position in comparison to Isaac Curtis. He's inside of the top 5, and he is chasing down a podium position, is the OPR driver, as he ride with Sean Benici, right ahead of Bobby Camo in the battle for the back end of the top 10. We already saw Trent Allen get a little half spin off of Owen Coleman a few laps ago, so he's on the comeback train as well. Speaking of coming back is Pete Baxter. How is Roo feeling, Pete, after your little chat with him?
Yeah, no, he's feeling quite good, and really acknowledges that he's had a little bit of a tough run, been getting involved in incidents. So looking forward to tonight's race. Said to me, hey, I've got an ace up my sleeve for another safety car. He didn't tell me what it was, but he said one more safety car and I've got a trick up my sleeve. I might get a good result. So let's see if that prophecy comes out. But yeah, no, he's in good spirits and enjoying the race tonight.
Well, we can see Brock Caddy just get past Mark Foster here. Scotty, it's we last pitted on, what was it? It was around about the 17-minute mark, lap 10. We're lap 24. We've gone 20, about 17 minutes thus far. So we should probably start seeing pit stops in the next few laps or so. And it looks to me they're going to be green flag pit stops as well.
Yeah, in the near future too. So we've got to get through to about lap 28, 29 before we expect them. We're only on lap 24, so we are close to the back end of that fuel tank. Small tanks tonight. That's worthwhile pointing out. They are very small fuel tanks. But the tyres will be starting to sort of kick in just a little bit. I think one of the tricky things has been, in actual fact, the low temperatures that we're actually looking at the moment. 17.735 from Isaac Curtis, currently fastest lap of the race. But he just ran an 18.1. So tyres are starting to fall off. But for Curtis, I mean, he's 6 seconds clear at the moment, so he's in a really, really good spot. So he can afford to just fuel save a fraction. Oh, there's a car around. Owen Coleman's just had a huge moment out of turn 5.
And I wonder, Scott, if he's caught the sand on the exit of turn 5, and that's how far up the road he's gone. He has just towed. But off he's gone. Now, I wonder then, Scott, because obviously during, say, a normal endurance race in a GT car, you go pretty much an hour stint, then you change your tyres. You said we could maybe go 40 minutes
that's
for a tyre change.
Having a look at, yeah. I've been wanting to change tyres more often in the hour if I could, because it's worth it.
Yeah.
But there is definitely a gain, and the big one is this is the moment for Owen Coleman.
Oh my God!
And over, and then bang! And just look at the suspension. One side of the road, hard across to the other. So did he grab the wall hard on the right hand side of the road, driver's right, our left, and then across the left hand side as well.
Well, if that's not a Tony Hawk Pro Skater wall jump, then I've never seen it before, because that is X Games stuff right there. That's a big moment for Owen Coleman. Might be shaken up from that one. Benici, though, well, it's right now it's a RER and WBR battle for the back end of the top 10 right now, Scott. And I'm surprised that these teammates of WBR aren't trying to work together to take down the teammates of RER, because they've been the dominant force in this league throughout the first half of the season.
And as the team expands, and I think one of the biggest things about the AITT Revolutionary Racing outfit as well is you've actually seen them grow as drivers and improve as drivers in the last couple of seasons, so that they are all dragging themselves up, which is generally quite difficult to do. You generally want, someone from a higher tier with a racing category to sort of walk in, work with the team, and then grow in that sort of direction. But I think one of the biggest things is that they've just sort of been challenging themselves in higher and higher tiers and categories worth of racing. And at the end of the day, the concept of this series and the concept of the drivers and what we're going on with is this is the limited series, and this is designed as a step-on point for drivers that are looking for something, but it's not a step-off point. The step-off point is the open series, and to go and challenge in a bigger and broader series is think of a bell curve at the end of the day, and the bell curve covers the bulk of your driver base are in that medium, that average speed, and then it gets harder and harder and harder to be quicker and to find those extra tenths. So it's important. Whilst it's important to jump into this series and do well at the bottom end of the table, it's also important to climb your way through to the top and climb out. And there's a few boys actually at the moment that are at that point where they're climbing up and out and getting better and better and better. And I mentioned one of them actually a few times, and I'm actually really impressed with the amount that Brad Coates has improved over the last couple of seasons as well.
He's proven over the last few weeks that he's been a strong contender. So is this guy right here, Trent Allen. He wants to move down the inside. If he can get it on Sean Benici under brakes, job done. So the AITT Revolutionary Racing car moves up into P11, and he's actually going to come immediately into pit lane. So the move seems kind of mute at this point. Brock Caddy under pressure as well from Mark Foster, as Luke Poser is still under pressure here from Kurt Chapman, who sends it up the inside at turn 1. Surprisingly enough, Chapo's gone longer than Allen did. Well, Chapo last stopped on lap 8, so it's quite interesting that he's managed to go a bit longer than what Trent did. Maybe that's just an offset of the strategy, though, for Allen at this point.
Yeah, certainly. I think Allen's actually coming to the pit lane just a fraction early, just to undercut a few guys and get some fresh air, because he's definitely quicker than a few cars that are just ahead of him on the track. And if he's saved up the tyres, and remember he went for that wild ride as well that he walked away from, if the tyre's still actually in reasonable nick and okay, great opportunity for him to sort of punch a little bit further forwards and end up in a better spot.
Yeah, for sure.
With some fresh air, because the difficulty of the overtake here is so high. I cannot emphasise enough. It is so high.
It is one of the hardest tracks to try and deal with overtakes, because there's so little sort of cookie cutter overtake opportunities. You mentioned them, turn 1, turn 10. They're your best two. Every other one, you've got to almost try and create an opportunity for yourself. You then also got to take some time, as Chapman's now in. So I would suspect everyone else who on lap 10 could now go another 2 laps, take them out to lap 31, roughly the 43-minute mark. That would see us then getting out to 1 hour and 6, then 1 hour and 29. So they're still probably going to need another 2 safety cars or so to actually extend the race out to 1 hour and 37. They need a few more stops. Pete, what's the good word on the recent updates of this race? I mean, we're 40 minutes in. It's been a tough race for some. It's been a better race for others, and it is really, as we mentioned, it's feeling like a sprint race that is being extended out to 2 hours at this point.
Right, to be honest, everybody I chat to, it's still just a race of survival, just trying to stay out there and saying, as well as you can, just stay away from incidents and not make mistakes. As you see, Owen Coleman, previous champion of the series, made a mistake just by hitting the curb, lost a bit of a car, and essentially he's out of the race, right? So, for everybody else, all they want to do is they want to stay in this race. There is still too many pit stops to go. There's still way too much to go. Nobody's chancing anything other than the odd overtake here and there, but I think we're about to see a full pit stop cycle ahead. I think you called it with 1 or 2 more laps to go. I think you're absolutely spot on there. This is lap 29 after pitting on lap 10, so that's 19 laps, 20 laps after a safety car, and then I think we're about to see a whole field pit cycle, and then we'll see where everybody is sitting as they go.
Well, Matt Webber, Benici, King, Composer, Koistra, Caddy, Foster, Latea, and Gretsch are all in the pit lane here, Scott. So some guys have come in a lap early, others are going to the extent of their fuel tank. But as we ride on board with Mason, he's putting all sorts of pressure on Tucker. We saw him flashing there. Do we think Mason expects Tucker to let him go? Because he doesn't have to. These guys are in the same car type, they're just in a different driver class. It doesn't mean he has to let him go.
But it's also just sort of, you know, challenging them. Hey, come on, if you want to race me, you got to race me as well. It's a tool. At the end of the day, the headlight flashes are a tool. And they're a tool that you can use, and you can really frazzle some guys if you just use them in the right places and in the right manners without excessively using them. But they're a tool. And Brent Tucker's going to dive to pit lane. They're both going to dive into pit lane. So, as is the next car down the road, I think Trent Stapleton as well. So,
fuel saving galore. Brad Coates has gone another lap. We've seen him do this before, Scott, and it often helps him quite a fair bit in these races actually gain good positions because he can go that little bit longer, which then cuts down his final stop of the race. So we could see another Brad. Yeah.
What was they saying about tyre duration? Where are we at with this pit stop?
Well, yeah, we're about the 40-minute mark.
Yeah, 43-minute mark. So
yeah, drivers take tyres. That was Chris Withers, I think, has just gone off the track as well in the Ferrari up at turn 5. He's going slow. As
Sean Benici, I think, has had a moment in cold tyres. Yeah, he has. He's had a big old moment. And he's had a moment rejoining as well. So he had, first off, had a moment at turn 5 on cold tyres, and then he's had a secondary moment. So this is the first one where it just gets away from him, which is that is probably the biggest spot. There are 2 spots on the track where you'll struggle on cold tyres. It's coming down the hill through the S's, and it's turn 5 are the 2 big ones. And then Chris Withers has had a bigger moment because he's on the straight and needs a tow at this point in time. So we could be about to, and then he's just spun it up.
Hey boys, I just had a chat. Chris Withers has run out of fuel. Chris Withers has run out of fuel.
Oh.
Yes. Didn't have a crash, just went too long.
Well then. So Brad's in. And the safety car is moving. We've got a safety car, boys. So this is... Well,
actually,
this has worked out quite well for Brad.
Yeah. For anyone who went long, remember, they were on warm tyres the whole time. For anyone who went short and has pit already, they've already done a couple laps on cold tyres. They're going to lose out massively, and then the tyres are just going to cool straight off again. So there was actually no gain in coming early and getting onto the fresh tyres a couple laps early. You just lost time, and then you'll lose time again. Suit Speed safety car out on the racetrack. And, that's come at a very opportune yet inopportune time. There is going to be a lot of gainers and a lot of losers out of all of this.
Well, the big gainer is Brad Coates. He's now up into P5, up 5 positions in this race. He's been able to under-fuel slightly compared to everyone else because, of course, he saved an extra lap of fuel, Scott. So this has given him a big advantage, and he's taken that advantage at the perfect moment because he's taken it at the free pit stop time when the Sud Speed safety car has come out on track.
Right, at this point in time, I'm just wondering whether or not Brad Coates will actually be available for a quick chat because he'll be up a few spots, and I'd love to just rustle him up just a little bit. I think Pete's actually just gone up.
Hey, gents, I got Brad Coates going to come.
Perfect. I was just about to ask. I was hoping that's exactly who you were going for. So
I'm going to try and get him in here.
Already got it. We're already all over it. Righto. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about Brad Coates. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce a man that I've done a few endurance races alongside of recent note, and a man who I need to offer an apology to because I said, hey, do you want me to cut some laps and give you some data to work with for this next lap? Brad, I apologise. I didn't do a data pack for you, buddy, but you don't need it by the look of things.
I probably would have still been faster than you, so it's all good.
Mate, McLaren, how's it rotating on the power at the moment? Because things seem like they're going well, and the big thing that we're actually just talking about as well is the strategy. You pit right as the safety car come in, didn't have to do a couple laps on cold tyres, but I get the feeling you should probably be doing some tyre warming as we currently stand, although you're fuel saving at the moment too.
Yeah, I'm warming my mouth and not my tyres, so I should do a bit of gentle tyre saving, but that extra little fuel saving at the start just paid off, I guess. Right place, right time. Although I'm still, I don't know what position I am, but we're doing all right.
P5 you are at the moment, mate. Ahead of where you started the race you're up 5 spots from starting at the back end of the top 10. Second half of this race, is that fresh tyres have just gone on board the McLaren for you?
Oh, yeah, I threw a couple of random tyres at a couple of different sides here and there. Might be a full set, might not. You'll just have to find out, but I'm hoping they're all going to start cold, so at least they'll all be even when we get started.
Finally, mate, robbed of potentially a race win a couple of weeks ago. Do you think it's an opportunity here tonight?
Oh, not really. I'd be happy kind of with a top 5, to be honest. There's a few quick guys ahead of me, but you never know. Fuel saving and just the chaos that is Road Atlanta and cold tyres. Anything could happen.
All right, mate. Best of luck. Enjoy the rest of the race, and we'll let you get back to the team.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us, Brad. See you, mate. I'll just make sure I got him in the right spot.
But Pete, it'd be funny.
Can you imagine we get a driver in for a safety car chat, and then 30 seconds before the race is about to start, he's sitting in the wrong team.
You know, it'd be hilarious. We should just send him down to Rue Koistra and just let them two go at each other. That'd be great fun.
I could do that. Yeah.
Can we put Pete there as a fly on the wall for us? He can just relay the messages that they're giving each other.
Anyway, getting set for a restart. I think we might be doing another lap under safety car here because I haven't heard any chatter about safety car. No, it is coming in this lap. Safety car's about to pull away from the field. So we will be back to green flag racing in just a few moments then. Critical time periods. And that's just been revoked, and that will be next lap after all things considered. So sincerest apologies, that one was revoked at the last possible moment. In terms of cars on the lead lap, all but Jamie Saxon, who I think is on the lead lap now, has just jumped into pit lane. Jared Williams, I think, is still off the lead lap. Indeed, he is. And Chris Withers is also off the lead lap at the moment. So we all but 2 cars off the lead lap that are still running here at the moment, gentlemen. Pete, you're about to say something, I think?
Yeah. So while we're on the safety car, I think it's the right time to say there's been a minor rules. I'd say it's an adjustment, right? So from the last race, the open round, there was a little bit of conjecture about when cars were weaving behind the safety car and when they should have stopped. Like the rules stated, they had to stop weaving as soon as it was noted or was advised by race control that the safety car was coming in that lap. At that point in the last series, everybody kept weaving, right? Because as most of us know, the normal call is when the safety car is called to pit lane and the leader takes control, everybody stops tyre warming and sits down. So a protest was raised because somebody, one of the drivers did get a penalty for weaving after that call. And then after a thorough analysis, we're a bit all over the place. So there were no penalties for the weaving from that race, but the slight adjustment was much clearer safety car directions with text on the chat in the server. You don't necessarily see them on the YouTube chat, but text on the server to the drivers about what is happening when the safety car is coming in. But the rule now has been adjusted that when the safety car is called to pit lane and the leader takes control, that's when all of the tyre warming manoeuvres must cease. The cars must be within 3 car lengths of each other. And then when the safety car is in pit lane, the leader can decide when to start. So that was some work that was done in the last week within the league, a little bit of a refinement of the rules there, and that will go across both the Open Series and the Limited Series. So Scotty, just an update I had to give you there for the safety car procedures.
Righto. 51 minutes into the 2 hours at the moment. There are 68.5 minutes-ish to go here tonight in the Dash Off-Road GT3 Limited Series. Sud Speed Safety Car number 2 in operation at the moment. And we will be under green flag conditions at the back end of this lap. Set for a restart. Curtis has leapt away the last couple of times, but this time there's no car off sequence in the middle of the strategy. Everyone's on the same strategy, and that means that this restart's going to be a little bit different to the last couple, Hamish.
Well, I think, you mentioned that there's no real off sequence, but everyone's pitted around about the same time. They're all on a very similar strategy. It's now minute differences that are in the strategy, i.e. Trent Allen pitted on lap 27. Everyone else went a few laps longer than him. So he's kind of lost out on his advantage by trying to get an undercut strategy on other drivers. He'll have work to do now under this. But everyone's got fresh tyres. Everyone's got fresh fuel. It's like a proper rolling restart. It's like we are back at lap 1 and getting ready to go racing again. But we're 52 minutes, nearly 53 minutes into this race. So we've gone a halfway round and we've fully reset it. So we'll see now how these drivers do across the restart as we come up towards turn 11. And Isaac Curtis gets us back underway. Green flag at Road Atlanta. And let's see if anyone cracks under the pressure. If they can find themselves out of it like a precious gem, getting a victory here at Michelin Tyre Raceway.
I think one of the bigger things is who left fresh tyres in the pit lane and who has got fresh tyres on the car. Who's got a little bit of tyre temperature and who does not. At the moment, it's been a good launch up front, but this could be cold tyres down and through the S's, which means there could be moments for a number of cars. I reckon Trent Allen might have warm tyres on. He is looking racy at the moment as he closes in on Brant Tucker. And if you're in Tucker's shoes, you might think twice about fighting this one. Deep as he dives down into turn 6. Somebody's just gone around. There's a couple of guys on cold tyres. I think Bobby Camo's out in the weeds in the Mercedes. He is at the moment. Car 124's around off of turn 5. Up and over the crest. As cold tyre does not meet warm bitumen for Brock Cut-Eye.
Tough moment for him. It looks like he's caught the curb at turn 5. A little bit of, even just the smallest bit of sand. Oh, it's almost a recreation of Owen Coleman's moment, barring the journey back across the track, and it's big damage on Brock's car. Hopefully he can get back underway once again as Alfonso Latea seems to battle away here with Ben Brook, and we focus up on Ben Gorringe, who's just slowing right down out of turn 11. That's a weird one for Ben.
Slow down penalty.
Yeah, maybe. Although there wasn't a yellow flag next to his name, so that's normally the telltale sign that he's got one, but he didn't have the yellow there, so it's weird. Ben Wilkes as well, he's on the comeback train. We saw him earlier on. Scotty in a moment that wasn't necessarily his fault. Glenn Jones too, haven't seen much of him tonight. We have seen Sean
John
Benici
Trott
quite a
just
fair
had a
bit.
hugely wild ride down and through the S's. And John Trott is now in the fence.
Oh, that's big damage
And
to
I
the championship leader.
think he's just called for a tow as well.
Yep. Ed Adcock's also been involved too, Scott. He is dropping.
I think
down
that's on
the
his
auto
own.
drop.
I don't think that's got anything to do.
No, I don't think it. I think they did it together. I think it was a bit of synchronized swimming or synchronized spinning in this case at turn 5, because Ed is stuck on the opposite side of the road with heavy damage. He's trying to get that car put back on the track. He has just done it now. So yeah, that's big for the championship with John having to tow back to pit lane. That's
No, I can tell you, boys,
tonight.
That is a sole crash only. John Trott, it's a sole driver mistake. He's hit curbs going through the S's, lost control of the car, and just hasn't been able to pull it up again. No other driver involved.
And it looks like, I mean, we documented already to this point how much issues John Trott has been having with the rear end of that car. And the problem is he's had a moment, and then you've got a car that's unsteady, unstable, and the problem is with the BMW to turn it in, you need to have a little bit of rotation in the rear, which means you're taking a lot of risk. The setup works. It's quick. It's how you drive the BMW in the current day and age, because it unlocks the potential to rotate off of the rear end. But the problem is you just give yourself so little room to react when there's an issue. So unfortunately for him,
it's almost like an unstable element a little bit there, Scott. It's, one little degree out of line and it blows up in your face, and that's kind of what's happened to John.
The tricky thing about the BMW in years gone by is it's always been this glued to the ground car, as has have all been the front end engine cars, and the new tyre model. You you need to rotate them. If you don't unload that front end of the race car, your front tires just cook, and it gets worse and worse and worse, not better. So to unlock that, you got to move the balance a little bit more rearward, and unfortunately, that's the counter. The BMW is now a tricky prospect. It is definitely quick and capable, but you just got to drive it in a completely different format as a result of that. And what it doesn't allow is risk management driving. And that's the issue.
Well, what would you say right now is probably the 3 best risk management car types then, Scott? Because it's been a fair while since I've actually traversed into the world of GT cars. The last effort was Watkins, and it was in the Mustang. Felt brilliant that day, but obviously there's been a couple of updates ever since that have kind of tweaked that a little bit. Obviously there's always support for the Porsche. The McLaren's been quite popular recently. There seems to be a little bit of a Merc resurgence as well, including the Lambo too. So what's kind of been the 3 safest options, we'll say, across, I think it's now, what, a 9 or 10 car field of GT cars we can have now?
Yeah, give me 2 seconds, I'll tell you. I think it's 11, actually.
Oh,
It's
11. It might be
manufacturers.
actually maybe 12 because of the limitations in multi-class racing, possibly.
No, it's 11. It's 11 we've got
Okay.
available for us here. Yeah, there are 11 GT3s on the platform these days. One of the bigger things, definitely the Mercedes is definitely, for me, I would say is probably one of the ones that's easiest to sort of jump in and drive and feel comfortable in straight away. I personally like learning to drive the McLaren because it feels nice and balanced. So, and then the Mustang, whilst it is quick, it's sort of the front engine car that's the ability to have the car rotate nicely comes as a result of having a nicely balanced car that swings around the rear end without being uncompliant at the rear end. So the Mustang's sort of this car that drives that really, really nice balance. So look, I'd go Mercedes, probably, like I said, McLaren, because the McLaren it naturally wants to drive off the rear end. So look, I think that's Brent Tucker. It's rotated the apex at 7.
Yeah. But
So he's going to rescue that car. Yep.
You see Brent down the order there, but look at where his competitor, who started inside the top 10 with him, is. Kurt Chapman back up to P12 with Mark Foster on his heels. So there is room for mistakes, and there is... Oh my God, well, Post is getting a bit aggressive with the McLaren and Mason on his outside. It's good to see Kurt fighting his way back forward again amongst this field. He's been in the wars early, and now he's just trying to fight his way back.
I think we're definitely going to have to try and find a replay of exactly what went on there, because that was an interesting one, because there's damage to multiple race cars as a result of that one. I think Mason was one of the cars that was actually majorly caught up in it. So at the moment, everyone settles themselves down and tries to sort themselves out. But yeah, so it's definitely Mercedes, and then, like I said, I think the McLaren, just because the McLaren's so consistent, it's just a really, really good platform to be driving on. I haven't done enough driving in the Acura. All of my driving in the Acura tended to tell me that it was really unstable. Audi is probably a little bit better than the Lamborghini at the moment, but the Lamborghini's coming back in vogue. Here's the replay. 6 into 7. Does he have a moment on his own? He's wide. No, he gets in the back of him.
With Chapman. Okay, so that was a battle for last position. I don't know if Chapman's run him wide and drilled him, or if he's tried to.
That's on Tucker.
Again. Yeah.
Well, Tucker is offline there and has tried to pick up the throttle. Oh my
God,
word!
Isaac Norman. Wow.
Is that Jesse McMenamin? Yeah.
I know Jesse McMenamin actually. Yeah.
I think they're trying to get across the pit lane and just waiting for the queue of cars to go by.
I think they're too far forward.
No, they're not. They'll make it from there. They can get in from there.
McMenamin hasn't. He's kept... Oh, that's a mistake. Oh my God, he was meant to cut across the face with Brock Caddy. Hopefully nothing's happened with that. How? Oh, that's just... Oh, Jesse. That's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. Matt Webber, though, battling with Will Buchanan for P2 on the road. Oh, my God. They're getting about as close as you'd want to. At this point of the race, Scott, as we've only just ticked over the halfway point, hour and 2 minutes into this race, they could high-five each other. They were that close. Bobby Kamari battles with Rue Koistra as well. It's almost been it's kind of been a race of two halves thus far. Scott, it felt more like a sprint race early, and then now it's kind of feeling like the endurance is just starting to run out a little bit because drivers were trying to conserve, but the way that the cars react and the way that they were battling, it didn't really give the sense they were conserving, and maybe they're running out of juice a little bit now and making small mistakes.
Yep, certainly not playing all that conservative at the moment. And Webber's trying to clamber his way through. I can tell you at the moment that Edward Adcock's having some issues with the car that's off the lead lap, I believe. Yeah, he is. It's Brock Kadai. It's just ahead of him at the moment. That's just sort of causing a few issues. Kurt Chapman's going to pick up a 20-second penalty for running in the back of...
Grant Tucker. That was Grant Tucker.
Yeah. By the way, we chipped over the halfway mark in the middle of all this too.
I know. It's absolutely flown by. Pete, I noticed you snuck back in on your tippy toes a little while ago. What have you caught for us with the what have you caught for us with the fly fishing of information that everyone's sending out?
Well, there's a couple of things going on. Obviously, you just mentioned we snuck past the halfway mark, and you're right. But at the end of that last safety car, we were 1 hour and 7 minutes to go. 2 stops is 1 hour and 9 minutes of racing. So there's essentially, for those that can make it, like you got full driving stints, but it's 2 stops essentially to get to the end now. If you don't have a crash, right? And obviously, some people are getting involved, and I don't know whether 1 hour is a fatigue point for some of these guys, and they've had big weekends, but we've seen at that 1 hour mark 3 or 4 incidents. Some of them, in my mind, have been pretty lazy driver incidents, right? Not good racing. But anyway, I'm not going to call out any individual on that. However, so what I have seen is that all the drivers are still in good spirits. So the guys have a few knockback. Back to you.
You say that, and then all of a sudden the elbows get brought out. Leith McClimate's trying to cut his way through at the moment. He's going to have Luke King alongside and Martin Allen in ahead, and they're making speed on James Mason, who I know he's got a little bit of front end damage at the moment. They'll go through. So Hallinnan's gone through. Is McClimate going to try and have a go at him as he crosses back over towards the inside? Yes, he's going to try and get to the inside. Hallinan leaves the door ajar. Around goes the car. I think Rue Koistra's off the road just ahead of them as well.
Yep.
His own separate incident. So there's 3 cars that have gone to the gravel trap all at the same time.
Yep, I was watching Rue, and he actually had contact into that corner, just kind of cut across the nose of the car that was on the inside. I'm not quite sure who it was, but I think it might have been Bobby Camo actually that he had contact with, because he's ended up off the road, and then that battle there is just absolutely blown up as well, Scott. So 10A, 10B are claiming victims tonight. I don't think it's holding any prisoners or taking many prisoners for us. I think they're just willing to strike them out and put a line through their name.
Yeah, that's the tricky part at the moment, is that everyone's trying to make gains, make losses. McClimate's coming from the rear of the field, trying to drive his way through, and he has done. And there it all goes off in the background, and that's Rue Koistra just trying to recover the car in the gravel trap. And straight to pit lane for him as well.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was Bobby Camo's lap 43 incident that caused the incident with Rue Koistra. Because it was roughly 1:08:3690 on the incident report was the timestamp. So it wasn't actually very long before we saw McClement and Hallinan have it coming together through that corner as well. So Matt Webber, though, starting to put some pressure here on Will Buchanan. And he's just trying to fight his way forward. But what's happening here, Scott, is it's kind of turning into the Isaac Curtis show at the front of the field. It's very similar to the bend, not that he's at anywhere near as big of a gap as he had in that race, but he is just all in his lonesome, and he's able to cruise at the front of the field right now. The one thing that could change this is if Isaac pits, and then we get a safety car after he's already pitted, and somebody else can underfuel the car slightly to jump him.
Well, I think that's the game that I'd be playing, is if I'm not going to be able to get there, I need to be saving, I need to be doing something. Matt Webber's about to have another crack with Buchanan for P2 at the moment. At the same time.
Oh, here comes Webber. He wants an outside run, but Buchanan's done well to cover him there. I think the driver the driver we made it look at for a bit of fuel saving here, Scott, is probably Brad Coates. He's proven to this point of the season that he's an incredible fuel saver, and he's not giving up too much time to these guys. He's only about 2.4 seconds off the back of Allen, who's a further 0.6 off the back of Matt Webber here. So he's
just having a McCamley. McCamley's needs a tow out of turn 5, which suggests to me somebody's bounced up and over the curb. Yeah, that is a Ferrari. They've definitely found the wall.
Yeah. That car is just a little bit broken.
That'll be the curb, guaranteed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure. A little bit of sand. Yep. Oh my God. You know, I double jumped like that once on a motorcycle at age 9, and I ended up in a very similar state to that car.
Mate, at age 9 I was winning. You and I have very different experiences of motorcycles at age 9. At age 9 I was winning an Aussie title on a motorcycle, so...
It was only 7 or maybe 6 years later, I then decided to ride my bike and hit a tree at 70 k's an hour on the handle.
Jesus Christ!
It was not fun.
All of a sudden, Hamish, you make a lot more sense. Moving right along.
Yeah.
Well, Matt Webber's missed pit road entry.
Yep.
That's curious from Webber, because the safety car is only about 2 seconds down the road, and he'll pick it up, and he'll go to the safety car's just waiting through.
Oh wow! The safety car's waved him through. He's the race leader. So he's gone through. Everyone else through. Yeah, he's got to pull over and just let everyone else pass now. Because if he doesn't,
he's not.
Everyone.
Since speed safety cars picked up the pack.
Well, Curtis has only just left the pit lane. So Curtis is coming out just ahead of Patrick Reardon. No, Curtis has only just come out of pit lane. So he's letting Wilkes past. Well, actually, no, Wilkes is sitting there. I don't think he realises he's allowed to go past.
Well, they've got to wait for permission. So the problem is, normally what that looks like... one of the issues that we have... 911 is not the leader.
No, Matt Webber is... Someone needs to tell Scott that he needs to let everybody go, because if he is holding them, Matt Webber is about to gain a lap on the entire field.
Hamish, they've already made that call, so the race controllers have picked that up already. They've already made the call for a full field wave pass to even it up. So it should start to happen.
Okay, hopefully they do, because Matt's going to lead the race no matter what, because they're not coming through at the moment.
I think Matt's going to get a free pit stop out of it. But
not just a free pit stop. He's about to lead the race.
Yeah, race control are going to call them all three, and so
arguably they should be doing it. They should have done this 4 corners ago, when Isaac initially caught him. He's letting them through now. This is the difference, right? So
this is where Sim, basically, I mean, it doesn't matter. Somebody's got to be watching it, whether it's IRL or Sim. But the benefit is the safety car, IRL, will have a light bar across the back end of the. Remember the Wing Cup at Bathurst in 2014?
Yeah.
Where we went past the safety car, and if you went back and watched the onboard footage, Wing Cup was in the right because he was approaching the safety car at not at racing speed, but at a fair clip, and the lights were green until just about he got to the safety car. There was no way that he was going to stop and stay behind the safety car without slamming into the back of it then. And that's one of the best experiences of sort of what's going on, is a little bit of a miscommunication. Safety car that we have in the sim here, no light bar across the back. So that's all going to be communicated to the drivers by audio or text chat. And there's a lot going on when that procedure kicks off.
I suppose the disappointing thing is for Isaac Curtis, he has just been costly to this race because of that
they might
unfortunate
rectify it.
miscommunication. They may. I don't know if they would, because if you're Matt Webber, then you're gonna put up a huff, aren't you? Because you're losing the lead of the race. So
I don't know that it's as dramatic as that, Hamish, because Isaac Curtis on the call of the safety car chose to go into the pits. Matt Webber didn't. But despite the fact that he got let go, which means Matt Webber was going to have track position anyway, the fact that he got past the safety car has given him a free pit stop and track position. That's the difference. So he would have had track position. He's got the extra pit stop to go with it.
he took tyres. Matt's taken tyres. Isaac hasn't. So that's it's very interesting.
So he's certainly got an advantage. He was going to get the track position regardless, but he wasn't going to get the pit stop. So he's essentially got a free pit stop out of it. How do you adjust that, right? I don't know how you would adjust that, because sometimes these things do happen in races. I mean, you can't give Matt a penalty. He did what he was allowed to do.
No, you can't penalise Matt.
Unfortunate for others, and
sure.
and this is a swings and roundabouts of sort of randomness of what can happen in racing, and I know the race controllers do everything they can to make it right.
Oh no, for sure.
We can see now that Matt's got an advantage out of that, and we can say it is, but you can't throw a penalty at it because
he didn't
do anything wrong. He didn't
None of us are suggesting a penalty. We're realistically, the only thing, you're 100% correct. It was not communicated to Webber that he needed to stay behind the safety car. So there's no penalty then offered. There is nothing that can be done there. All we're really discussing is whether or not something should or should not be done to readjust the ordering. That's the tricky side, and that's one of the ones. At the end of the day, it's a human error, right? We're not sitting here and going, anyone's done anything wrong. It was just a human error got involved. So.
So RER is saying Matt wouldn't have had track position because he missed the entry, then he would have ended up at the back.
Yeah, I disagree with that. No, because safety car was on the field. Isaac Curtis went into the pits. Matt was in P3. Matt did not go into the pits. So Matt would have been the first car behind the safety car without pitting, and he would have had the track position of P1.
But he would still need to pit, though. He would still need to pit.
Only if he came into the pit when it went right around again, and then he'd be like down to the back, right? Because he'd be back to the front.
If he had kept going though, Pete. So let's look at the world of that. The safety car lets the field past, as well as it let Webber pass because Webber didn't stop behind it.
The other critical thing,
would he have been leading still?
Well, the other critical thing is Webber was at the back end of his, he was a lap from pitting when that safety car came out. So you always take a pit stop.
Look, all things even, if the safety car didn't hold up the other cars, then all things even and even pit stops, then Matt would still be in P3, right?
Yeah. I suppose that the beauty is Isaac hasn't lost out too much. He's lost a position, but he's still on the back of Matt, so he can still fight for position and he can still battle him. But he lost his advantage that he had.
He's also lost 5 seconds in the next pit stop.
I actually don't halfway mind what Pat Reardon's doing here. And I'll give you the reasoning behind this one. So this is a little bit weird, him pitting off for the second cycle. We're on the window to get home on one stop. We are right on that window.
And he's setting himself up to only need one more instead of having a fuel save. So he's really throwing the dice at it. Pete, I wonder, you mentioned earlier Rue Koistra had a trick up his sleeve for another safety car. Unfortunately for him, though, it's not really going to work out too well after he had that incident off track.
Yeah, I think that incident off track would sort of rob that trick up his sleeve. So again, unfortunately for Rue, he's had that little incident, and that's just put him back in the race. But he was able to, in his own words, thankfully it was just before the pit entry. I could come straight back in, use my fast repair, and get along without losing too much space. So the safety cars probably allowed him to catch back up to the field where he lost some time. So yeah, I'm not sure that the ace that he had is still viable.
Well, we've had some big gainers in this race thus far, Scott, through all the chaos throughout. Trent Stapleton up 11 spots, Kaposa up 15, Foster up 19, Gorringe up 16. That's just the drivers who fought their way into the top 10. Just outside, we've got Camo up 13, Latea and Williams up 20 and 28 apiece. Up 19 is Tom Williams. Latea and Williams up 20 and 28. Jones up 19, Heaney up 14, Brook up 12. And then Stefan Melli is up 21, and then it's also Purcell up 10, Coburn up 13, Atkins up 10, and then McMenamin up 18 as well. So some big gainers throughout that field, and they've taken advantage of other drivers' unfortunate nights on the road and in dropping positions throughout this race. So Matt Webber leads the way. Safety car has pulled into pit lane. What is there still on offer throughout the next 42 minutes of racing? We're into the zone of a possible one-stop scenario to the end, but can other drivers make it in only one more stop, or is there going to need to be a little bit of fuel saving involved? Whoever has gotten us back underway again. Green flag at Road Atlanta as we're back going down towards turn 12. Who is going to maximise on their restart, or who is going to crack like an egg and get fried in the process as well? Pete, I saw you sneak off then. You've just come back for the restart. What piece of information has Sneaky Pete brought us this time?
I just wanted to see how Matty Webber was feeling, and to be honest, mate, he's feeling like the luck of the Irish has tipped him on the shoulder, and it's just put him up the front. And essentially, as we talked about, that's what it is. So something to look at there in terms of safety car, but look, he's just like, I think he's lucky to be where he is. Isaac's going to have to fight him for the end result, but his mindset's in a good spot. So yeah, luck of the Irish.
I think if anyone can do it, it's going to be Curtis who can fight with him as well. It has been an intriguing piece of racing throughout this hour and 19 minutes and change across Road Atlanta. Scott, we've had so many interesting talking points throughout the race, and oh my God, that is a massive send.
Well, he wasn't hanging around. Isaac Curtis thinks that he is quicker. And an update as well from the restart is that, remember with all those wrecks we were talking about with weaving after the safety car was pulling away, guess who's been pinged for them? Race leader, Matt Webber, has a 5-second time penalty, and he was weaving well and truly after that safety car was pulled away. I didn't say anything because I was just waiting for it to happen.
That's okay. I suppose then if you're Curtis and you know he's got a 5-second penalty, you don't necessarily need to go for an Olympic-sized dive like that, but he wants to win this race on the road. Yeah, well, that's true.
That happened immediately afterwards, so...
Yeah.
Oh, Webber's off! Webber's managed to rescue it just slightly. This will change things because now down the inside, because Curtis will get the job done, get back to the point. Somebody off in the background.
Mark Foster. Oh, that's big damage on that Porsche.
Oh, that's bent.
Yep, that thing
here comes the field.
Oh, my God. That thing was completely cooked. A souvenir for a fan on the side of the road down there. Little front bumper action. Well, it's quite interesting how the dominance of Revolution E-Racing, Scott, can kind of come to fruition in this race. 4 cars in the top 5, and there are 6 of them in the top 11 cars on the road. It's ridiculous how good this team has gotten in the last 12 months.
You say that, but also don't forget, it's going to be 3 on the podium at the moment, pending the penalty. We're waiting to be applied post-race. This will be the moment for Foster. A little bit of wiggle on the way in. Looked relatively okay. It's the gravel on the way out. The car unsettles itself over.
That's a tough one for him. Really, really tough one. Leith McClement's in the chat with us. Unfortunately, that means he's out of this race, it seems. Unfortunate for Leith there, but at least he gets to enjoy the show now for the next 49 or 48 and a bit minutes of this race to go. Plenty of action still to come, but anyone can make these sorts of mistakes, Scott. I mean, it doesn't matter who you are. You could be Curtis, you could be Webber, Buchanan, Coates, Allen, any of them. Small mistake is going to cost you big.
Cut a pit stop. We need to cut a pit stop out yet. So remember, These guys all pit about 6 laps ago. That was just prior to the window. We've lost another car that's gone around. That was Luke Kapotza. After that restart, it's gone around, the rear wings come off that car. Well, that car's going to need 2 pit stops to get to the end, so may as well get in, get it out of the way early, and run in some clean air, hopefully for a little bit. So
let's see how this has happened. Has he caught the inside, or has he caught the outside?
Or has he caught the full throttle? Yeah, he's caught
full throttle.
Now remember what I was saying about tyres going away? It's the rear tyres.
Yep.
They're the problem.
Well, the crowd pleaser was doing its job. He found some crowd down there and decided to do a burnout for them. Unfortunately, it's affected his race. Ben Brook under pressure at the moment here as he battles away. He's I'm trying to find where he's on the road, actually. Oh my God, I'm blind apparently. No, it's Greg Heaney just ahead of him, 14th. My eyesight's not what it used to be. Oh my God. This is a McLaren triple threat. Brendan Purcell, Koistra, Sean Benici all battling away as well.
By the way, Glenn Jones, new Challenger class leader.
Oh. Have we actually seen a Ferrari win a race this season, Scott? I don't know if we have.
No, there's not been a Ferrari near the point for a very long time. I'm just listing Brad Coates' fuel saving again, which we probably already expected, but he's going to try and cure that fuel saving deficit early. If you've got to do a 40 lap run to the end, and this is probably something you won't actually be all that aware of in GT3 time right now. When is the most pressure you put into the tyre? Well, it's peak braking. When do you put the most pressure into it? The initial bleed onto the brake, because you could do a big hard stop on those anchors. So what can you do to prevent that? A little bit of lift and coast. That helps manage the tyre temperatures. The wear levels come down massively as well. Not only are you managing the fuel, you're managing tyre temperatures as well.
It's probably actually one of the easiest cars to manage multiple things at once because of that reason, Scott, of you can manage tyres and fuel at the same time, where there's other, and still carry pretty good lap pace too, where there's other cars out there in which it's a lot more difficult to manage both your tyres and your fuel at the same time and keep up your lap times too. So obviously it's a tough skill to learn, but this one's probably the one that's the most forgiving in learning that skill compared to other cars out there in the racing journey here on the sim. So right on board with Trent Stapleton, Pro Drive Racing. He's in behind the good king of Whiskey Business Racing as well. Taking a good gain down the straights. The toe is giving him a lot of help here, but he's going to be forcing that outside line. It's not likely going to work. And he's had to tuck back in again in behind. Pete, I can hear you ready to stumble up some more info for us.
Absolutely, guys. I just come back. I had a chat with Matty Webber and Isaac Curtis just after that restart. In fact, during that restart, and I kind of had to pull Matty Webber up as he was weaving after the safety car and said, "Well, that could be trouble, boy." Anyway, he did get a 5-second penalty. Isaac was well aware of it. He knew it was coming. So before he got the position, he's like, "Yeah, that's cool, Pete. I got 5 seconds on him anyway, so I'm just going to race him." I still have more. Go back to you. Yeah. Yep.
You're talking about Ferraris that were having troubles and ability to drive their way through the field. That is Jamie Saxon. He's just asked for a tow because the rear end of that car is just about destroyed. How's this happen? This is at turn 1. And, oh boy. Well, that is a Ferrari that is no longer got a rear clip attached.
No, that is a that is a fur. It's lost all of its Rari in that incident there, Scott. So that's a tough night for Jamie Saxon. Only made tougher from that incident too. So had a very similar incident. One of the last times I raced here in a league race. That was back in the old Ozpass days. You remember that one? As Koistra battles away with Mellis, and they've made contact and gone round. It's a very similar incident to what Koistra had earlier with Bobby Camo. Unfortunately for Stefan, he's been caught out in that one. Oh, we can see that a lot of drivers, and we sort of said earlier, Scott, the sprint race feel has kind of been up in front of our eyes the whole night. It is now a sprint race to the end, really. That safety car's turned it into a sprint. For some, it's a one-stop to the end. For others, it's a bit of fuel saving or possibly a two-stop. And now it's how is your strategy come together? But there's been a little bit of luck involved too. Have you won the lottery here tonight at Road Atlanta, or have you put yourself in a poor position where you've got to try and work for a possible result in this one?
Oh, let me jump in, boys. After having a chat with Isaac Curtis, one of the things that stood out to me was the Mustang is burning more fuel than the other cars. So Isaac's burning 2.6 litres per lap. The McLaren is burning 2.4. In practice, in the Porsche, I was burning 2.3. So the Mustang is burning a little bit more fuel. So that little sort of time advantage that Isaac's gaining and others are gaining through having the Mustang, they're going to lose a little bit of that in the pit stop field time, because they do need to add, subtly more fuel, but enough to be noticeable in terms of the time stats.
I can tell you Curtis is pressing on. I'm not hearing any fuel saving. Just been through all of the front sort of three cars, and none of them are saving. Coates is the first one that's saving. Something just happened to him, by the way, because he's dropped back to 5th, and he's just let Trent Allen go on through. So there's been a change for P4. And there's this little battle pack just in behind those guys as well. So we're right on board with Luke King, who's in behind Ben Gorringe. So we're just starting to see some quicker times popping their way through. 17.595 from Isaac Curtis is the fastest car thus far. Ben Wilkes is trapped at turn 5 at this point in time and needs a tow. There's a change of position in that one. King gets down the inside, drives through and out the other side. I believe that was Whiskey Business Racing by the look of those ones. And Camo is trying to line up to have a crack at a lot of them.
He wants to try and sneak his way through. It is Bobby Camo. He's had a great race thus far, up 15 positions to give the confirmation. Ben Wilkes has been allowed to tow back to pit lane as well, Scott, but Bobby's done well to get inside the 10. As is Gorringe and Stapleton, as King's just traversed it off track ahead of them though. That could be a slowdown. It is a slowdown for Luke King, so that will drop him out of P6 possibly. He's got to be careful he doesn't impede too much whilst he's serving that slowdown.
I can tell you, Alfonso Latella, I think, is going for the fuel save strategy as well at the moment. His pace has just dropped significantly. He's going hard after that fuel strategy. I reckon it's only one lap worth of fuel. We are short, by the way.
Quite possibly only one lap. It's going to be very, very tight. Very, very tight indeed. And those who are pulling the fuel game strat are the ones that will reap the benefits. I suppose you always will save a lap under a safety car. But if it was 2 laps you needed to get to the end, well, now you've got to do the work to get the car home in this race. Camo is tucked up right onto the back of Stapleton. And the problem we get to as well, Scott, is what happens if we go a lap longer? What happens if we cross the line with, an hour and 59 minutes and 58 seconds finished and we've got to do one full lap? That's going to completely change the fuel game as well. And where drivers are going to end up in terms of their strategy, that could completely change who actually wins this race.
Now, Hamish, if that happens, I'm going to tell you, Adrian Greck's going to win. You know why? Because before the race, I went and had a chat with him, and I said to you, whatever you do, fuel plus 1 lap every time. Whether he started or not, I don't know. But
Hamish was not for that incident. So effectively, for your knowledge, Hamish, what you missed was we had a GT3 race, a GT4 race, and a GT3 race in a row where Gretsch ran out of fuel inside of the finish line. Like, he coughed, spluttered, and died and didn't make the line. 3 races in a row. It is a very, very old Premier Endurance League reference back when we ran a GT4 series. So,
however, he's adding extra fuel tonight for me.
The problem is, that is probably, 18 months old, that reference now? He's going to cop that for the rest of his days.
Oh, do you know, everyone cops it if they run out of fuel on a broadcast. It's just pure fact. You should know about it. 10-second penalty for car 54, causing an incident lap 56. So that's going the way of Stefan Mellis for the incident with Rick Hoystra. So it's a big loss for him. Oh, what a race this has been, though. hour and 31 minutes, just under half an hour to go. We're only 6 minutes to go until that critical number you mentioned, Pete, of an hour and 37 minutes into this race. Although we could maybe argue it should be maybe an hour and 38 minutes just in case there is the extra lap at the end of it.
Don't argue. Let's just go precise, Hamish. I'll be back shortly.
No worries. Precise is the key. It's quite two different offsets there. Scotty says we've got to be precise with an hour and 37, but then Scratch, he's got to do a fuel up plus the lap. Oh, but at this point though, Curtis is. Can we even look past him for the race win, Scott? Because Webber's got a 5-second penalty and he's only got his teammates behind him, and they'd want to try and help him get to the lead of the championship, especially with John Trott so far down the field in P25.
Yeah, well, that is going to change up those championship standings. Webber's making good pace at the moment. I'm just concerned, obviously, about those fuel numbers. Probably one of the better cars on fuel as well is probably likely. BMW is generally very gentle on its fuel burn, so Will Buchanan sitting in third spot. After what Pete said about Trent Allen too, I have a sneaking suspicion Trent Allen is going to be in trouble with that Mustang in P4. So, again, I've got confidence in Brad.
I was going to say, could we look to maybe Brad then? Because if Isaac has to fuel save and he's not saving enough,
he won't make it. He won't make it. He's pushed too hard. He's gone too far.
Yeah, we know that Brad will, because Brad is fuel save extraordinaire. Oh my God, John! Yeah, he could just right up Bruce Ginger there. You can smell what he had for breakfast. He was that far up him, so he's trying to push forward and make up spots. Pete, confirmation of something, I would hope.
Well, no, I was just going to check into a couple of guys I hadn't chatted to all night, and that was Benny Brook and Jesse McManaman from the Frog Leap Juice race teams. Benny is running P2 currently in the Challenger class. Both having a good night, although Jesse was a good spirit. I gave him a little bit of a tickle in the ribs about being involved in some incidents. But interestingly, I was talking to him about tyres. Benny's changed tyres once, probably won't again for the rest of the race. Jesse hasn't changed tyres, doesn't intend to for the rest of the race. So that is a real interesting. 4 to 5 laps was their call in terms of getting the right speed. Now, I don't know whether that's a difference between elite drivers and challenge drivers, but I tell you, even in my own practice, it was sort of lap 4 before you were getting some real speed out of the car in terms of tyres. So I can concur with where they're coming from. And if you've only got sort of 20 odd minutes as a fuel stint, 4 laps is already sort of 6 to 7 minutes into that anyway. So Jesse McMahon going the whole race without changing tyres, boys.
So he struggled to turn it into turn 1, and that probably explains a little bit of that. So anyway, this is Will Buchanan being traced down by Trent Allen. And Allen's going to pull to his inside, and I had a feeling there'd probably be a little bit of chatter in the team about how much they want to fight this one. That says to me Buchanan is trying to make the fuel at this point in time. Rolled out very, very early and was happy for Allen to go, and Buchanan stopped trying to chase down those leaders as well, which again also says to me that he is on the fuel save. That battle pack we were looking at with Koister and Trott have both gotten through on James Mason. And now there's a few other cars just ahead of them that are starting to struggle at the moment. Have a look at the lap time differences. 17.8, 17.8, 17.7, 18.5, 18.1, 18 flat. So anyone who's probably backing in the 18s in that lead pack, fuel saving for sure.
So
Dash Off-Road, limited series.
Just a big one for you, Scott. Tom Williams has come in, so has Ru Koistra. That's a wild run off the track for Benici. They've come in crucially a lap ahead of that critical number that Pete mentioned earlier on. So those guys are going to have to try and save either a lap of fuel across this stint, or they're going to have to come in for the most minimal splash and dash for the checkered flag in this race.
Well, critical time, end of 37 minutes. But the problem is for the guys that are throwing their weight down the back straight away at the moment, they are still short. And I'm expecting Isaac Curtis in at the end of this lap. If he's in, he's short, and he's short by 30 or 40 seconds. It's not much. It is not much. Is Curtis going to come to the pit lane? No, he goes another lap. So that says he's probably okay on the fuel metrics, which means the Webber is good as well. And we're losing Ben Gorringe, I think, from the server at this point in time.
Oh, that's a shame. Ben was having a great race. And it's now changed the lead for the Challenger class up to Ben Brook. Bobby Kimura into pit lane now, so we're well and truly into pit stop territory. Bobby's going to have to do the very most minimal fuel saving, although he may be okay, Scott, because he'll give up a couple of seconds driving through pit lane. Might be all right, but everyone else, though, being able to go into this next lap says to me that they've been fuel saving enough that they could make it, and they can do it on one more stop without having to fuel save again.
So for the meantime, front 5 cars stay out. Brad Coates, is he fuel saving? How long is he looking to go? He's fallen a fair way back off the cars that are ahead of him. Here comes the Mustang of Curtis to the inside. Is that Koistra? Yeah, Koistra has just dropped in behind him. That's after a pit stop for Rue Koistra. And again, I'm just thinking Curtis, from my mind, wasn't last lap. He'll have to be... So he's gone fine. He's fine on fuel. Yeah, they're gold on fuel. Forget it.
I was going to say as well, does he take tyres, Scott? Because
no, you wouldn't take tyres for the last round.
Time. Yeah. I suppose you're giving
he's pulling away from Webber, so he's fine. I wouldn't even think about it.
I suppose that's true. King's in as well, so Trent Allen, King, Taya can all make it home from this point too, so they're all coming in at critical. So any pit stops that happen past this point will be guaranteed to make the checkered flag, as we are at a minute over the critical time. So the pressure that's being applied here to Ed Adcock from Greg Heaney. A battle of the Aston Martins. Inter-class battle too, between a Challenger and an Elite class driver. And they've got Glenn Jones, Ben Brook in front of them too. So Heaney would want to get past Adcock if he can, so he can challenge the other two in the podium for that class. As you see John Trott's now putting pressure on McMenamin for P12 on the road. Jesse's up 33 positions in this race, but he needs another pit stop to get that car home as well, so he will give up some positions due to natural degradation of the pit lane traverse. Same for John as well in the 422 car. Well, it's an interesting prospect in this race, Scott. It's amazing how it doesn't always necessarily matter what happens.
Like Isaac Curtis is going to speed on pit lane entry. Or is it an unsafe entry? So that is going to throw everything away. A night of hard work undone by a couple of kilometers an hour on the pit lane entry.
That is a big moment there for Isaac Curtis. I'm just going to have a quick look back at this actually to see what's happened to him, if it is an unsafe entry or if it is a speed. Because this is
pit lane at the moment.
It's a speed, boys. It's a speed. I was actually in the team as he came into the pits, and I heard the O beep. I just got a speeding pit lane.
So are we blaming you for putting him off on that one there, Pete? Or
you could. No, yeah. Well, you could. Yeah.
Hamish, we don't say that out loud because Peter'd never be allowed back in team chats ever again.
That's true. We've got to have our fly on the wall.
Right. These guys have been so good to me. These guys have been so good to me. But I did talk about at the start of the race, what I talk about, the change of where the cones are for the pit entry to this racetrack. And that's what's caught him out.
It's almost like you're an oracle, Pete, knowing exactly what we needed to talk about pre-race.
That's why I'm a good race controller.
No,
so at the moment, everyone should be able to make it home on this stop. I don't think that's much of a question mark altogether, but there has been a request to tow, and it's a car off in the S's at this point in time. Where's car 152? I was listening for, which is Chris Withers, which will be his second issue of the night.
He's just gone back to pit lane, so he's been allowed to tow. Brad Coates is in now as well, so I wonder if Brad will actually underfuel this car slightly compared to the other drivers that came in. Of course, Webber is our corrected race leader, but with that time penalty, he will drop below Buchanan and Trent Allen, who are hot on his heels. He's got to try and get that car to a 5-second gap. John Trott's gone another lap as well, so he leads, but he will need a pit stop to get home. So for Matt Webber, across 9 to 18 and a half minutes, he's got to gain not even half a second a lap to get up to 5 seconds, Scott. He's just, that car is just... You'd hate to be the Secretary of Finance for that team when you Pete, because they have paid many bills to fix their cars tonight, unfortunately for them.
Look, at the end of the day, if you put a car in the wall, you're gonna have to fix the bill, right? So, you get drivers that don't put cars in the wall. Yeah, as we all know, that's difficult in iRacing. iRacing has some really slippery factors about it, and putting a car in the wall is actually quite easy. Going over the limit is really quite easy. But I'll tell you what, having Isaac Curtis drop out and make that mistake in pit lane, hasn't that opened this race up? I'm now saying I think Will Buchanan or Trent Allen is probably the prime for me to take it out with 17 to go. But if Matty Webber's got the goods to be able to pull out and make a little bit of time and overcome that 5-second penalty that he's carrying, then Matty's good. I don't know. Who do you want me to go and put the mockers on? Give me a tip. I'll go and have a chat with him.
Ladies and gentlemen, Pete Baxter now available for Curse services. If you would like him to be placed in another pit lane at the time of another pit stop, inquire within. We can have that arranged for you at cost. Whoa, big moment up and over the curbs at turn 5. Was that my mate McCamley? I think it was. He went for a wild ride in the Ferrari just in behind, but that's right weird. The rate list leading pack. Webber's at the head of this little group. Martin Hallinen's a lap car that's actually in the middle. So this is Trent Allen in behind Martin Hallinen. So Hallinen will need to jump out of the way. Although to be fair, I think Hallinen kind of wants to continue on with his night.
He'll want to play the team game of trying to hold them back because his teammates in the race lead. He's done the right thing.
He's done exactly the right thing. Jumps straight out of the way. There was no team games played there at all for Martin Hallinen, but the problem was for Hallinen, if something were to go right, he does want to be right there just to scoop his lap back up.
Righty with that Adcock as well. With Mark Foster. I mean, best thing just get out of the way and let your teammate do his job.
Sit right there, and just wait.
Yeah. Well, gap's now at 2.5 seconds, so Webber is starting to put the jets on that Mustang to try and run away from Will Buchanan. This may be a chase down to the very end. Whether Buchanan can chase him down or if he can chase down the clock and keep the gap below 5 seconds, that's the main talking point. The other talking point is, can Brad Coates chase down Allen, his teammate, to then put the pressure on Webber to try and maintain the podium position as well? It's an ever-evolving storyline throughout the race, and it is literally focused on the time clock right now. Can Webber win this race with a 5-second penalty, or is he going to end up like James Golding at Bathurst and dropping out of the win and down possibly off the podium?
I was just going to have a quick look. Who else has put penalties here tonight? And I'm just wondering, Brad Coates was given an NFA from earlier on in the race with Ed Adcock. And I just wanted to double check there wasn't anything further up the order for issues. No, I don't think there is tonight. So it's just the one penalty for Matt Webber that exists inside that top 5. King's driven his way through to P5. And Isaac Curtis, after that penalty, has also had another incident.
Well, the house of cards have crashed down around him right now, Scott. He's still on a... Is he still on a net loss? He is still on a net loss from John Trott. So John could still lead the championship out of... Well, he will still lead the championship out of this race because he's ahead of Curtis on the road. But how many points is he losing to Trent Allen, who was P3 coming into this race? So that's the real question. I think Trent will definitely jump Isaac, but will he jump John as well? Or has John got something left in the locker as Adcock gets past up into P10? Past Mark Foster, the leader of the Challenger class, and Latte is also dropping now to Adcock as well.
So at the moment, there's this little battle pack. Sorry, my apologies, it was Tom Williams that had a moment just in front of Ed Adcock. And this is Trent Stapleton to the inside of Bobby Camo. And he will clear and chop across the nose of Bobby Camo up to 6th spot. Good little gain for him across the course of the night. 11 spots. Camo's up 17. Luke Potts are actually up 14. So double digits. Potts gained a bunch of guys. Potts is going to be through to pit lane, so that explains why he had a gain.
Yeah, and Foster will have to pit again as well, Scott. He last pitted on lap 55. So the true leader of the Challenger class right now is actually Greg Heaney of Whiskey Business Racing, with Ben Brook hot on his heels as they battle for a true race lead in that class. So both of the classes have actually got a top two battle happening. One of them on the time clock, one of them on the racetrack at the moment, with only 13 minutes left to run in this race.
Well, Fozzie's got a pit stop to come.
But yeah, Foster does, yeah. But the corrected in quotes P1 and 2 of Heaney and Brook, and we'll say that. But yeah, so yeah, Fozzie's going to come in. I think when you look at the correct top three of the challenge class, Heaney, Brook, Purcell, all up double-digit positions. When Foster comes in, it'll be up 18 Heaney, up 16 Brook, up 17 Purcell. So those guys have all started the race around each other, and they've moved up together as well. So those guys are obviously comfortable battling with each other, and comfortable racing with each other too. As off the road goes Chris Ruddle, thanks to Patrick Reardon, just giving him a little serve. Unfortunate there for him.
Chris Ruddle just called something into the radio, so that'll be that incident right there. I think at this point in time, it's not been all that easy to go racing around Road Atlanta, and we said that this is one of those ones that's going to challenge the drivers here tonight across 2 hours. It is sweaty. It is sweaty work. It's aggressive. You're going to bump. You're going to have to try and keep that car compliant underneath you, and good luck to you if you dare. There has not been already have an incident for every night.
Hey Scott, I'm sweating already. It's not because it's been 30 degrees today, but because the racing has been absolutely incredible throughout this race. And the ebbing and flowing of this race has been absolutely spectacular as well all throughout.
Hey gents, I've just jumped back from the AITT Revolution race team chat, and I tell you, there's no team orders going on. There is no thought right now of swapping around Will Buchanan and Trent Allen on the basis Will's actually doing quite a fine job. He is keeping up the pace. He's not holding Trent up. Could Trent go faster? Probably in the micro sections, microseconds, but neither driver is holding each other up, and there's a little bit of payback I think Trent feels he owes to Brad Coates from earlier on in the race anyway. So right now they're both trying to stay well within the 5 seconds of Matt Webber, because they know that they're well and truly aware that Matt's carrying that 5 second penalty, and that's their real key right now. It's a P1 P2, and I think you'll only see that swap over in the last 2 minutes of race if something happens to Will Buchanan's tyres and he goes off the pace.
Righto. Final 10 minutes about to come our way in terms of Premier Endurance League from Road Atlanta. It's your Dash Off-Road GT3 Limited. We have seen the Sid Speed safety car at multiple opportunities throughout tonight, and it's been a real core feature of the racing to this point. But for the meantime, the Revolution E-Racing outfit have got drivers fighting each other for positions up and down the field. This is Stapleton versus Camo, who are not from the same outfit. And Bobby is throwing the kitchen sink at Stapleton right now.
I mean, he's throwing everything at him. He's pulling out random tools out of the toolbox to try and throw at him as well. Scott, there's a 5/8 spanner in there somewhere, I'm sure. Possibly a 10 mil. Who knows? I don't know why you'd be throwing it away though. You don't want to lose it. But still, he is trying to fight for his life to get that car up another position, and fighting for their life as well. Is the battle for now the lead of the Challenger class with Heaney, Brook and Purcell. They've got Williams ahead of them, as well as Alfonso Latea in P9. There are opportunities for a breakout performance tonight, Pete, and right now any of them could break their way through the wall.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Seeing the Challenger classes up in that P10 to P13, I always like to see a Challenger in the top 10, but 10 minutes to go. We'll see what happens.
Final 10 minutes, final 5 or so laps to the end of this race. And there's a Porsche having an absolute go. At the moment, Tom Williams has had an up and down, a sideways, a slideways night. He's been elbowed off the road. It's not been easy for him, and he's back inside the top 10, right at the back end of the top 10. And by the way, we're back to 10 from 10 elite class drivers inside the top 10. Greg Heaney and Ben Brooks just behind this battle for the back end of the top 10. On board Ben Brook at the moment as he looks to chase down an Aston Martin GT3. You know, I actually learned something just recently about the Aston Martin for this one. The Aston Martin's actually turbocharged V8, which I thought, oh, it's a V8, it won't be turbocharged. The thing actually has an anti-lag system in that's adjustable by the driver as well, which also really, really critical when you're in first gear. Once you get up to sort of second and third gear, it's actually a lot more balanced and it's not important, but that is a tool the drivers have for balancing the car throughout the lap is how much the anti-lag system kicks in. It does hit you with a big whack of torque spike as well when it kicks in.
Can you imagine trying to... You've learned how to drive a GT car and all of a sudden you've got to learn how to adjust anti-lag on a turbo to make that car work for you. I mean, it's a hell of a test, hell of a challenge. And right now, Greg Heaney is making the most of it. There's been no lag in his progression throughout this race. He is up 18 positions into P11 at this stage. Give the update on the drivers who are currently out of proceedings, or at least quite a few laps down. Of course, Ricky Provenzali's been out ever since lap 9. Owen Coleman out since lap 26. Sleeth McClimmon out since lap 45. Ben Gorringe out since lap 64. And then Jamie Saxton is a fair way down. He's currently on lap 67 of this race, but he's just slowly but surely trickling his way forward. That's Camo. Oh my God. He is putting all the pressure on Stapleton. All the pressure on him. And he stuck to him all throughout this part of this last portion of the race, Scott. And when does Bobby go for it? When does he try and make the move? When does he try and go for the dive? Is it possibly right now at 10A, 10B? Up the inside goes Camo. He got it. That's a great move.
Oh, no, he didn't. No, he didn't. The rear tyres are not being compliant because he just got a whisker outside of the racetrack and off and into the grass. And for Bobby, that nearly looked like a GT3 with a anti-lag turbo system in the rear end of it.
Oh, and Ben Brook into the lead of the Challenger class as well. So the Mercs have decided to claim 10A and 10B tonight, Scott, to make some positive positions in this race. And now it means that Brook is in the lead of the Challenger class with 5 minutes to go.
Here we go, up and over the curbs once more. On board with the Aston of Greg Heaney as he tries to cut his way back through. 5 minutes, we're under 5 to go from Road Atlanta. And Brock Kadai is going to slide down the inside of Ben Brook as he's trying to grab a little bit of track position that's not in class. Out and onto the marbles. That Aston Martin starting to ail at the back end of this one. In the meantime, Brook is running away. And there's not going to be enough time to go and chase that car down, barring disaster.
Give the update as well at the front of the field. Gap is still below 5 seconds, so Will Buchanan is the corrected race leader. Here comes Brock Caddy. He wants the move on Greg Heaney if he can get it. But now they're going to have to run side by side down the hill. Has he got the job? Heaney's in Heaney's in pit lane.
Are we seeing cars running out of fuel? Well, they only went 10 laps on that stint. It was only 10 laps.
Surely not.
He just underfueled the car. Kurt Chapman is going to be tight on fuel.
Worth. Yeah, Kurt will.
By the way,
that's weird. Why would he need to come in? Wow.
Underfueled it. Just didn't put enough in. Glenn Jones has hit the barriers. turn 5, I think, or somebody's at the barriers at turn 5.
Matty
So at the
still
moment,
needs
Matt
to
Webber-
find. He needs to find 3 seconds, Scott, in the next sort of 3 minutes. He's got to try and outlap him a second a lap. That's a Mount Everest level effort for him to try and do that.
So it
Especially
takes
with how
some doing.
Will's been driving. Yeah, I mean, it's with how Will's been driving. I don't know if Matt can do that. That is a tough pill to try and swallow if he's going to do that now. I suppose, could he contest the 5-second penalty, Scott? I don't know. Oh, well, there
it
you
was a
go.
slam dunk. It was a
Yeah.
slam dunk. Isaac Curtis at the moment is trying to cut his way back through. For the moment, he's just cut his way past Adrian Gretsch. Jesse Miniman is the car ahead. And the problem for him is it's a few challenger cars next on the road, so no big gains.
Mr. Baxter? What
Yep,
sort
Greg
of
Haney.
info?
Greg-
Oh, yes.
Greg Heaney was short fuel, was going to run out of fuel, so he said as soon as he knew that was definite, he came in just to top up to make sure he gets over the finish line.
Okay. It's unfortunate for Greg. He's taken himself out of a possible race winning position. It's great for Ben Brook to put him in a solid position now, Scott. And he's got 2 cars between him and the next car in class. That's Brendan Purcell. And then we mentioned that we think Kurt Chapman's, well, yeah, he's definitely going to spit again. He pitted on lap 61. So that's going to drop Kurt down the order. Ironically, tonight, we look at the 2 ends of the totem pole.
I think Luke King's just gotten back by Bobby Camo as a heads up.
Yeah, yes. Or did Camo ever actually get him? Because we know that Camo went past Stapleton. Did he ever actually get past King?
Sorry, was it? Yeah, sorry, my apologies. It was Stapleton and Camo that were going at each other. My apologies.
Okay, but he's coming at him. He wants to go at him. Can King... Oh, King's backed out of it. What?
Is
he
King
fuel
sure?
saving? I think he might be.
Oh, Bobby Camo
This is
makes a mistake as he comes off of the hairpin and down the back straight away.
And then we've got Cuddy and Brooke battling away into class battle as well. This has been... Oh, it's hot race. Matt Webber in the pit lane. Matt Webber is in the pit lane. That has cost him a podium. It's guaranteed Will Buchanan or Trent Allen a race win, and it's going to confirm, Scott, an AITT Revolution E-Racing lock out of the podium too as King's in. How short are these guys? They're having to go a little bit longer than the 2-hour mark, Scott. Yeah.
They would have gotten white flag that time by. It would be this lap and no more. And Adcock, I think, just got a black flag for speeding on pit lane entry as well. So he's also going to fall. Look at the timing charts. Just all of a sudden shuffle.
Yeah.
Adcock in. Brandon Purcell in. Guys, there's more guys going in than we anticipated.
Trent Allen's low on fuel. Trent Allen's in a big fuel save. He's just dropped 2.5 seconds on this lap to Brad Coates. Has Buchanan got enough fuel to get himself home? Allen's out of fuel. Trent Allen's just about out of fuel.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
No, I'm going to call that as Trent Allen is paying back Brad Coates. That is
he's
that
out of
is
fuel.
that is Trent Allen paying back Brad Coates. He said that earlier to me. He said he owed Brad Coates. Didn't do it and didn't do it whilst
and after
whilst
2
Matty
hours,
Webber was in front.
Will Buchanan ran long, ran smooth, ran consistent, and stayed out of trouble. And he's going to get the win from Road Atlanta. Coates will come home in P2.
Allen in P3 as well. And
Well, he's still got fuel
Camo,
for Allen.
Bobby Camo up 20 positions into P4. What a race from Bobby Camo. And I think we have to shout it as well, Scott. Alfonso Latea up 26 into P6 as well. Tom Williams up 33 positions into P8. What a race for those guys. Well done.
Enjoying it together, all three of them. Ben Brooks, the only car across the line at the moment in the Challenger class. Isaac Norman and will come home in P2 and Jesse McMenamin in P3. So he'll be happy with that final result as well.
Crucially as well, Isaac Curtis got himself back to P13 on the road there, Scott, and John Trott P9 in the end as well. So championship standings, they'll get a little shake-up, but it'll be very interesting when we head out to the final 2 rounds.
Well, they went long on the fuel. There wasn't a whole bunch left of it, and that's why you don't see any tyres being destroyed at this point in time. Top 3. We'll walk you through the final running order in just a few moments as the tail end of the field coming in. Purcell might have sped on the way out of pit lane or unsafe exit. He pitched himself at the black flag after his pit stop at the end of the second to last lap. And there's your final standings. Will Buchanan from Brad Coates and Trent Allen. Bobby Camo makes it an AITT Revolution E-Racing top 4 and 5 of the top 6 with Alfonso Latella tagging into 6th spot as well. Trent Stapleton home in 5th. Matt Webber pops back out in 7th from Tom Williams. John Trott back to 9th after driving back through the field and saving a little bit of gas on the way there. Brock Kadai home in 10th. Ben Brooks is going to be the first car home outside of the 10, the first of the Challenger cars for Frog Leap Juice Racing, getting themselves a class victory in the Challenger class from Luke King. Isaac Curtis back to 13th and was called out in the chat for driving a Mustang with the 911 on board. Isaac, if you're going to take that number, please drive a Porsche. Isaac Norman will be home just in behind for second place in Challenger from Jesse McMenamin in 15th outright and 3rd in the Challengers. Patrick Reardon had a wild ride. He comes home in 16th spot ahead of Adrian Gretsch. Good news for Gretschy, made it home on fuel. Luke Capozza will round out 18th spot. 19th and 20th will be looking for, at the end of that one will be Greg Heaney from Sean Benici. Inside of the top 20 for the Whiskey Business racing pair from Chris Ruddle, Rue Koistra, Kurt Chapman, Dale Atkins and Brendan Purcell, last car home on the lead lap. He picked up a penalty at that last round of pit stops. Ed Adcock had a penalty at the pit stop as well. He'll fall off the lead lap. Stephen Mellis, Brent Tucker. Remember, Brent was running very, very well early on. Falls all the way down to 28th spot overall and I think outside the 10 in class as well. Glenn Jones also led the Challenger class at one point tonight. Again, also not getting the job done. Martin Helmer, Mark Foster, last cars 1 lap down. Nate Coburn, 2 laps down, joins Matt McCamley and Ben Wilkes with issues. Chris Withers, 4 from the lead. Jared Williams also 4 from the lead in 36th spot. 9 down for Jamie Sachs. I believe they were in an early retirement. James Mason, 10. Ben Goriange, and here comes the retirements in earnest. Lee McClymont, Owen Coleman, Ricky Provenzali, and Nick Bottrell never turned a lap in that one there tonight. That is the final running order. And I tell you what, I think we're going to let Hamish take care of the large portion of the podiums here.
Well, first of all, we're going to start with our Challenger race winner here this evening from Frog Leap Juice Racing. It is going to be Ben Brook coming our way. Ben, congratulations. P1 for the Challenger class tonight. P11 up 17 positions as well. Often the world of PL, of trying to figure out fuel strategies, trying to figure out fuel numbers. Yours was set correct. You found a little bit of luck along the way as well, but you survived, more importantly, the 2 hours of Road Atlanta. How was your race, mate? Because that was an exceptional drive from you to keep your race clean and to keep yourself in a prominent position.
Oh, cheers, mate. Yeah, I literally don't know how I managed it. I literally come back home about 1 o'clock this morning from the Metallica concert in Perth, and I've got raging tinnitus, and I jumped in the car literally 15 minutes before the practice sesh. So maybe that's what I need to do, because it's obviously worked.
Well, I mean, Road Atlanta, it's obviously one of the homes of sports car racing across the US. It's a track I'm sure you've got plenty of laps at as well. The real big question I have to ask you, though, is where the hell is Rob Crisdale?
He is in the Open Series,
that's right, yes.
So you won't see him in the Limited.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, that answers my question very easily, actually. So it seems like a really dumb question now for us.
There's what they say. There's no stupid questions.
That's true. Obviously, Japan for the next 2 rounds. We're going to Motegi next time out. How are you feeling going into that one? Are you feeling confident in that race, or are you thinking that maybe you might, struggle a little bit to get up to pace for that one?
No, I've done a fair few laps in Motegi in various stuff, so that should be okay. Fuji, I absolutely dislike with a passion, but yeah, no, it's all good. The racing's been really good this season, so yeah, just hope it continues on. It was a fantastic race tonight, so yeah, love it.
We've done an exceptional job once again, Ben. Congratulations on the race win in the challenge class. Thank you so much for coming and have a chat to us. Let us know anyone you want to give a shout out to, whether it's family and friends who may be watching, or some team sponsors as well. For myself, Scott, Pete, and Biggles in the booth here, congratulations once again on that win. And a top 15 finish to boot as well. It's a very impressive effort.
Cheers, mate. Yeah, big shout out to Race Control and the commentary team. Makes it just fantastic, to be honest. Shout out to my team. Thanks to Jess for being my wingman tonight and bloody keep me entertained. And a big shout out to our sponsors, TCS Consulting, Blue Stampede, Racecraft, and Juiced Energy. Thanks a lot, guys.
No worries. Thank you so much. Ben Brook, the winner of the challenge class here this evening, up 17 spots in a fantastic effort. Great to have Ben come and have a chat to us once again. Next up, we've got our P2 finisher on the road this evening in the elite class, P2 overall as well, from AITT Revolutionary Racing. It is Brad Coates. Brad, congratulations. P2 on the road tonight. Trent was struggling on fuel a little bit there at the end. Did he let you go by, or was he genuinely running out of fuel?
Oh, a bit of A, a bit of B. Yeah, I think
yeah.
the extra lap caught a lot of people off guard in the Mustangs. So.
Yeah, well, it's still worked out for your team though. 4 cars in the top 4, 5 cars in the top 6. That's a pretty fair effort, and you've got yourself some solid points on the board as well. You are just coming out as a fuel-saving master, it seems, Brad. No, this is a few races in a row now that you managed to go a lap longer than everybody else on each stint, and it's working out for you. You are getting some really good positions gained from this sort of strategy. Is it more down to the McLaren and being able to save the fuel, or do you think it's coming down to a bit of skill, or is it a little from column A and column B once again?
Oh, mate, the secret's out now. I don't got the speed, but sometimes I can lift a little bit early and save a bit of juice. I think, sadly, I'm not in Team Forward this season, so the McLaren does do a little bit better on fuel than the Ford. Ford burns a lot of fuel, but I just try and keep consistent laps and just sit behind someone. Not interested in getting holed up in other people's battles, and it seems to pay off.
Now, Motegi next time out, another tough track to try and make overtakes at, and then we obviously head out to Fuji for the final round as well. How are you feeling going into those final 2 rounds for the Japan doubleheader? Do you think there's going to be a little bit of work for you to do to get a little bit faster, or maybe some work to do for the team to get more comfortable as well? What's sort of the running plan for the next few weeks as you guys get prepped for that race?
Oh, definitely practice Motegi. Not one of my better tracks. I've been very fortunate so far in the season that a lot of tracks that I'm good at. A lot of the old favourites, old faithfuls on the calendar, but Motegi definitely new. Fuji, love it. So I'm expecting good things there, but definitely Motegi will need a bit of a practice, I think.
Well, a phenomenal effort once again, Brad. Well-deserved podium once again. You've fuel saved your way to another positive performance tonight, so congratulations on that front. Would you like to give the team sponsor shout-outs, or do you want to leave it for Will since he won the race?
Oh, I got to memorise now because I'm in here so much, so I'll give him the shout out. But first of all, shout out to Isaac as well, who was leading. Unfortunately, had a bit of a mistake there that cost him, but that would have been another solid result for the team. But as always, thanks to Sudspeed, Kibby, IR Sidekick, Bunny's Builds, and Shaw X4. We'll keep on winning.
Well, thank you so much, Brad. Congratulations on the P2 tonight in the elite class and the overall as well. Best of luck in 2 weeks' time when we head out to Twin Ring Motegi. Appreciate your time coming over chat to us. Brad Coates, P2 here this evening. Great to have a chat to him once again. And next up, I think, is it for the first time this season, Scott? We've got Will Buchanan on the top step of the podium. Surely it is. I think it might be. Yeah, I think it might be.
Will Buchanan showing that the BMW is capable of getting it done here tonight, mate. We were talking about the benefit of a turbo is that you don't burn quite as much juice. You're just a little bit more efficient in extracting the power from all the 6 cylinders that you got. But we're looking at John Trott. He was having a lot of problems with the stability. You didn't seem to be having as many issues with that BMW. A lot more stable on the rear, but then again, half the trouble is trying to get the weight off the nose is a little bit of an issue with the car.
Yeah, hey boys. Yeah, well, the car didn't feel too bad tonight. It was a bit sketchy towards the end of the stints, mainly in the fast corners, but I didn't really have an issue with the nose or anything. Yeah, car felt good overall, to be honest.
Now, Will, talk us through, obviously, some of that team strategy there. Of course, we just spoke to Brad, who's obviously a good fuel saver to get his car forward. Isaac and Trent, well, they're just machines in terms of pure pace. You've had some really good performances in kind of building up from your qualifying in the last few races. Of course, the Ben, you didn't qualify, so I hope the field had great gains in the race. Watkins, you did quite well to do the same. Tonight, you had a very good qualifying. Only up 3 in the end, so you started P4, and you found yourself at the front of the field at the end of it. Did this track just click for you a little bit better, or have you been trying to manage your qualifying pace across the last few weeks to try and better yourself coming into races now for the second half of the season?
To be honest, I was a bit shocked actually qualifying in P4. Road Atlanta is actually not one of my favourite tracks, but I've had with Petit Le Mans only a few weeks ago. I had a bit of practice there, even though I was in the hypercar. I knew the track pretty well, so. But yeah, I was very shocked by that. But yeah, not really. Yeah, it's one of those ones. Just lucky to be up there. Just kept it consistent, and yeah, everything worked out in the end. Very unfortunate for Isaac with the speeding in pit lane, and yeah, with Trent with the just underfueled a little bit. But yeah, I just try to keep. I knew. Webber had a 5-second penalty, so I was just driving the arse off it to try and keep it within that 5 seconds.
Now, Motegi coming up as the next round, Will. It's obviously a tough track. How are you feeling going into that one? Are you feeling confident, or do you think there's going to be a bit more work to be done once again going into the next race on November 23rd?
Probably just the same prep. I usually just about a day or two out for the race. I'll just get my eye in on the track. I've driven a lot in the supercar. I can't remember if I've raced there in a GT3, but I love the track anyway. I always have good results around there. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it a lot.
Well, congratulations on a very impressive race win. Thank you so much for coming and have a chat to us. Let us know anyone you want to give a shout out to, any friends or family maybe watching, or some team sponsors out there as well. And for myself, Scott, Pete, and Biggles in the booth, congratulations on this race win this evening. It is well deserved.
Yeah, cheers, boys. Really appreciate it. Yeah, just going to shout out to all the RER boys. All their support is amazing. And there's obviously to the sponsors, amazing support from AITT, Sudspeed, Kibby, IR Sidekick, Bunnies Builds, and Truex 4x4. Always doing a good job helping us get on track each week, and just couldn't thank them enough.
Well, we thank you so much, Will, for coming and have a chat to us. Best of luck at Motegi in a few weeks' time. Will Buchanan of ARTT Revolution E-Racing, the race winner here this evening. And Pete, it was a race of all sorts of thought processes, all sorts of storylines as well, all throughout. The fuel save game, or the fuel strategy game, I suppose, was one of them. The incidents were another. And then Road Atlanta itself had its own part to play in the deciding of that one.
And I had a cough when I did my own fuel calcs before the race, and it was 4+, right, with a question mark. And that's exactly what we got, 4+, with safety cars. And as a consequence, the extra runs through pit lane tripped a few up, as we saw with Isaac. It changed the shape of the race. That little plus in terms of fuel strategy changed the shape of the race and the outcome. And I'll tell you what, the guys that were able to keep a straight car, fast car, and use as little fuel, cream rose to the top. Wow, it was a fabulous race to watch. Action aplenty everywhere, and what I love about this limited series is that you don't have to be an alien to be involved, but there's good racing all up and down the field. And congratulations to everybody involved. So great to be here.
It for sure is. We're going to give a shout out as well before we wrap up to the series sponsors, of course, Dash Off-Road 4x4 parts and accessories store, Sudspeed Gloves as well for being the safety car sponsor as well to Kibby Graphics, and the Sim Racing in Focus podcast too. Their last guest was little old me. That was a few months ago, so we'll see if those guys will be having a new episode out very shortly. Scott, we go racing at Motegi next time out. That's going to be a tough race for these drivers. Not a circuit that I particularly think of as a sports car circuit in itself, but I think one that will test the size of field that we've got here. It'll test 40 plus car fields, and one that may be not exempt to a couple of safety cars.
Yeah, Motegi's definitely a challenge. Lots of corners both ways as well, depending upon the layout. The biggest thing about Motegi is overtaking. You thought overtaking came at a premium at Road Atlanta. There is a couple of really, really well-defined overtaking zones at Motegi. It's left, right, left, right, left, right. There's no real big braking zones that offer that. So, it steps up another level what the actual offerings are in terms of overtaking chances. So the difficulty goes up just another notch yet again.
I reckon we should run the layout that only has left-hand turns. That would be really interesting, wouldn't it? Just pull out the oval of Motegi.
Sure, let's do it. Let's do it one season.
No, you can't do it. You can't do that, Hamish. Scotty will want to drive.
I was sitting there watching tonight, and I was actually going, you know what? I actually wouldn't mind driving in the Open Series in a couple of weeks from Watkins Glen. So my apologies from Road Atlanta in a couple of weeks. This is one of my favourite racetracks to actually go driving at. So,
well, in a couple of weeks' time, in fact, 14 days' time, we go racing at Road Atlanta once again for the GT3 Open Series, and then the week after, we're going racing at Motegi for November 23rd, the weekend of the Pro Invitational final round, the Mega Bathurst weekend. That night, we're going racing at Motegi. It's going to be a big one. Week after, we're back in the Open Series for Motegi once again. Then it's another week in a row for the Opens as they head out to Fuji. And the final week of the season, December 14th, Fuji Speedway will host the final round of the GT3 Limited Series, as we'll go racing at 8 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time once again across these next 5 races of the season. Big thank you to everyone who has joined us here this evening and watched alongside as we've gone racing here at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta. If you haven't done so already and you've been here for a little while, or you're just joining us for the first time, hit the like button and subscribe to the bell icon too, so you're notified whenever we go racing right here on the Premier Endurance League channel. And we appreciate everybody joining us once again. I've been Hamish Fano with Scott Rankin and Pete Baxter alongside Dean Biggles in the background, pulling all the cameras and all the sights and sounds for you right here out at Road Atlanta. We'll see you guys in a few weeks' time when we head out to Mobility Resort Motegi. But until then, it's stay safe, drive hard, and as always, bye for now.